Welcome back to Deathsie's Duel Academy. Alright. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Strixhaven School of Mages limited card review. All of these ratings are going to be available on Deathsie.com as well. You can watch it in real time if you're watching here live on Twitch. We are not going to be reading out all the cards because ain't nobody got time for that. You can read the cards on screen, but you know, I'll read out some of it, but I'm not going to have a methodological approach to it. I'm not going to read out, like, all the converted mana costs and, like, you know, the creatures, blah, 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 everything. So you can use your own eyes and read the cards. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to go in order of colorless cards into lands. Sorry, colorless into multicolored, into lands, and then into white, blue, black, red, green. Now, the reason why we do that is because colorless cards go in every single deck, right? That's why we start with that. Then we go to multicolored cards, which show us kind of like signposting for what color combinations are intended to do. After that, we go into each color, and we're going to go by lowest rarity to highest rarity. So we're going to go from, for example, white. Going to go through all the commons, then the uncommons, then the rares, mythics, etc. And then, last but not least, for Strixhaven, we are going to be doing the mystical archives at the very end. So, we're going to do the archives at the very end, and I think that's going to be the best way to do it. So, feel free to rate along with me, and, you know, flame me if I get anything wrong, because, you know, Deathsie's not allowed to be wrong. We're just not allowed to be wrong. It's just not okay. So, alright, let's go ahead and start here. We got 280 cards to go through, I believe, or 275 it looks like here, not including the mystical archives. I don't know if the mystical archives are part of this number here, like the 275, but they will be in the set. They will be in place of the land, I believe, at different rarities. Okay, so we have confirmation for Ian that they are not part of the 275, so we have a long night ahead of us, right? Let's go. Once again, this is for limited. Every once in a while, if I see a card that's like kind of cool for constructed or something, I'll maybe point it out. But all right, let's go and start with the colorless cards. Very first card we have here is Excavated Wall. 1 mana 0/4 defender, tap 1 and mill a card. All right, so actually kind of cool. This card is actually kind of a win con on its own, assuming that a format's not blisteringly fast. Pretty cool that it can target either player as well. You know, I'm kind of a fan of it. I'm kind of a fan. Like, this is a card I really like. So, I think I'm still going to give it a relatively, you know, low-ish mark. We're going to go ahead and give it a C, okay? And again, you can see my rating system below here. So, it's basically a 5-star system with a S tier as, you know, like, above 5-star, like 6-star, just the best of the best. But C is gonna be average, so we're just gonna give this a flat C. It says yourself, put the top card of your library. What? Oh. All right, we're gonna bump this down from a C to a D. All right, let's give it a D here. Easy clap. Easy D for Excavated Wall. What in the world? See, what would I do without Twitch chat here? All right, next card here. This is a Jamie's reveal card, Campus Guide. All right, so a Campus Guide, 2 mana 2/1, enters a battlefield. You may search your library for basic land card, reveal it, shuffle, and put that card on top. On top of what? Just kidding. Put it on top of your deck. So kind of like a Solana Wayfinder type card. It is colorless. It's not green. And Solana Wayfinder was an uncommon, like, can we talk about that for a moment? Let's not. There's nowhere in Strixhaven I can't find. Where do you need to go? Oh, this thing is so cute. I mean, it's just not that exciting, right? Like, it's not card advantage. It's putting a land on top. It's basically the moments where it's good are going to be very, very infrequent. It's going to be like good on 2 when you're missing land drops, right? I'm just not excited about it. I'm just gonna give this one a D-. D- might be a little bit harsh for this little guy, but just very unexcited about 2 mana 2/1s in general. And it's not. It doesn't even fix my mana. Like, it's not a Prismite. It puts a land on top. My boy, my boy. It doesn't matter like how many colors you are. This card is just probably just way too bad. Am I gonna play a lot of these in some sort of multicolored decks? Probably. We'll see. Unfortunately. Like, bad fixing is still bad fixing. Alright, so this looks like a Pokemon card or something. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Okay, environmental sciences. 2 mana. What is this? What is this here in the top left? Alright, so it's a sorcery, it's a lesson. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. You gain 2 life. Search your library for basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle, gain 2 life. So this card is not that exciting on its own. I assume that there's like some sort of special stuff with it, but it's also a colorless spell. Have there been colorless spells that haven't been like Eldrazi spells or something? This is so weird. A colorless spell. We should also put a spoiler command here. Let me see. Edit com spoilers. Alright, never mind, I'm over it. So, Ian, if you want to make a command for it and then add it to the stream title, that would be very good. Just replace our spoilers command here. Basically, what the sort of spoilers I don't want are, I don't want to know anything about future cards that we haven't seen yet. So, please don't share anything that you've seen on other streams, etc. We just want to try to go through it and just, you know, kind of think for ourselves. Thank you, Ian. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a perfect command. Just do whatever. Okay, so very interesting. No idea what this does. We'll see what these lessons do. So, expanded anatomy. 3 mana. Another lesson here. Put 2 counters on target creature, gains vigilance until end of turn. So, these cards have seemed pretty underwhelming. Part of it may be that they're colorless. Part of it may be that, you know, maybe there's some other cards that interact with lessons and you kind of get them for free-ish or something. But these cards alone would not be worth whatever they're costed, right? Like a 3 mana card that puts 2 counters on a creature against vigilance. That's not a card that you would ever put in your deck. Think back to War of the Spark, even like Stealth Mission that gives unblockable. That's barely a playable card, right? So really unexcited about expanded anatomy, but again, we'll see which things interact with lessons. Yo, so many cool classes here. Oh, I didn't even rate these cards. Guys, I forgot to rate these cards. Jeez. You know what, Ian? Is this a card rating stream? Let's just leave these off until the very end here. Let's leave these off until the very end. So, again, I don't know. But as it stands, like, these cards would be like... This would be like a D-, right? Just very unexcited. Maybe this wouldn't be a D-. Like, this card's actually just decent, I guess. Be like maybe a D+. Then this would be like a D-. Expanded anatomy. All right, so I mean, let's just go ahead and look at them though. Anyways. All right, introduction to prophecy. Scry 2, then draw a card. Yo, Rookie, thank you so much for gifting out 5 subs here. Rookie, thank you so much. How are you doing, Rookie? Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Welcome, everybody, on the Rookie Scholarship. There's only one time here, and it's time to duel. Look at these beautiful... Look at these... I guess you can't see much of the green screen, but they're like the artwork cards from Kaldheim. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. There's only one time here, and it's time to duel. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. No Nightcaller. I've been streaming for 12, 13 hours a day, so my sleep's messed up. There's not enough hours in the day. Thought we could get some scholarships going as we talk about some lessons. Thank you so much, Rookie. How are you doing? Nice to see ya. All right, Introduction to Prophecy. 3 mana. Sorcery lesson. Scry 2, then draw a card. Okay, well, this card is obviously just like not very playable in general, right? Like, I'm not paying 3 mana for this super expensive cantrip like that. At 3 mana, is it even a cantrip? So, yeah, really not excited about this card. Again, we're gonna wait until we see the rest of the set to rate these lessons properly. But, Introduction to Prophecy, yeah. 3 mana, scry 2, draw a card. This would be, like, close to an F for me. Very close to an F. Doing some homework? Hey, good luck with your homework, rookie. Hell anti-time. Yes, graduation date should be on April 12th, which I believe is a Monday, and I am going to post it on social media and stuff. I'll take care of it on my off days this week. All right. You don't need luck when you have Chegg. Wait, what is Chegg? What is Chegg? All right, Letter of Acceptance. 3 mana artifact, so it's a mana rock. Add 1 mana of any color. 2 mana, tap, sacrifice Letter of Acceptance, draw a card. Look, it's an owl. That's so funny. That's an owl. Okay, well, I mean, it's a mana rock that pops itself. Definitely not bad. Definitely not bad, because it can sacrifice itself. This is a really good design for, you know, the year 2021. But I think I'm still gonna give this like a C-. So let's go ahead and give this a C-. It's not bad. I still think that generally the fundamental of mana rocks is that you have to not only be ramping, but you also have to care about mana fixing. So Letter of Acceptance, it has a built-in failsafe that it can sacrifice itself. But overall, still not very exciting. All right. Biblioplex Assistant. Biblioteca. 4 mana, 2/1, flying. When Assistant enters the battlefield, put up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. Okay, so once again, it's kind of like the campus guide. It doesn't put in your hand, but it puts on top of your library. Definitely not the worst thing. I can see like certain decks it being okay in, but it's really going to depend. Like most spells, you're just not really going to care about putting it back on top, I think. Still very unexciting. Oh, what do we give this one, guys? Like, it's somewhere in the C or the D range still. Somewhere in the C or the D range still. Probably like a D+, I guess. I think I'm happy to give it a D+. Ah, thank you, Ian. Perfect. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Me llamo T-Bone. Discoteca. All right. I think so. The thing is that the problem with this card is at the point in the game that it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good like with good spells later in the game. Like for the most part, you're not gonna put a divination or whatever back on top, right? Anyways, I'm gonna give this a D. Actually, let's give it a flat D. I think this is fine. Okay. Introduction to Annihilation. 5 mana, exile target non-land permanent. Its controller draws a card. Ew. Gross. Gosh. Is this just a Raven form? Is this just Raven form? This might just be Raven form. Alright, well, once again, we'll see what lessons do, but I'm gonna give this a D. Just give us a flat D as well. But, yeah. Introduction to Annihilation. So this is like annihilating somebody, but then, you know, paying for the funeral kind of thing. Interesting. Alright, Cogwork Archivist. 6 mana, 4/5 reach. What the hell? This... Huh? How does that have reach? Oh, I guess it's literally reaching and putting books up top. Some of the things in Magic, man, like these giant dinosaurs with like giant necks, super long necks, and super tall or whatever, don't have reach, but this guy has reach. Robes and Magic. Yo, what a great name. Thank you so much. Robes and Magic, welcome to the number 1 Deathsie's Dueling Academy. I'm your headmaster here. I'd like to formally invite you to the number 1 Deathsie's Dueling Academy. There's only one time here, and it's time to duel. Great to have you here, Robes and Magic. I hope you're excited for Strixhaven, because there's going to be a lot of Robes and Magics here. Inspector Gadget Wheels. Okay, 2 mana tap, put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. I mean, I like these effects, but like, this is way too thick, isn't it? Depending on the stat lines, this card could actually just be serviceable. But again, not very excited. Let's give this a D+. It's the largest library in the multiverse. Of course, it has the largest librarians. That's rude to the librarians. Yeah, Kogla. Kogla is literally on top of the Empire State Building, and it doesn't have reach. Cogware Archivist, however. So, let's check out the uncommons here. Team Pennant. 1 mana. It's an equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, has Vigilance and Trample. Yo, wait a second. Equip creature token. 1 mana. Equip normally is 3 mana. This card is actually reasonably costed, and actually, it gives a lot of stuff. Yo. It not only gives +1/+1, it gives Vigilance, and it gives Trample. Like, Vigilance is one of the most underrated keywords, I think, in Magic. Vigilance and Lifelink are probably the least underrated, with the most overrated probably being, like, Flying. Flying. Something like that. I think this card's actually solid. I kind of want to give this, like, a B-. I think this card is actually very serviceable, and it's going to be a nightmare for a lot of decks to deal with. It's going to depend on, well, how many creature tokens are, and also how expensive it is to equip. Basically, what I mean is just how fast the format is, I guess. Or how often you can equip for 3 and get away with it. So, I think it's pretty decent. I'm going to give it a B-. Seems pretty sweet. Team Pennant. Alright, Zephyr Boots. Alright, 1 mana, Flying. Okay, whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. So you get a loot. So, this is, you know, your run-of-the-mill flying equipment at uncommon. But you get to also loot with it. It's actually pretty sweet. Loot Boots. Loot Boots. Looter Booter, yeah. Seems decent, but I mean, it's relatively inexpensive all around. I don't know. Seems pretty good. It seems like a C plus B minus range for me. C plus B minus. Nice kicks, yeah. Air Jordans? Interesting. Let's start this off at a B minus. We'll see how this goes. Starts out at a B minus. Alright. Next card here, Spell Satchel. 2 mana. Alright, this is our first time seeing this, Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, put a book counter on Spell Satchel. Cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell. Is there going to be a lot of copying? That's interesting. Put a book counter. Okay. Tap, remove a book counter from Spell Satchel. Add a mana. 3 mana, tap, remove 3 book counters from Spell Satchel, draw a card. So, basically, 2 mana doesn't do anything yet. And then you have to cast spells in order to add mana, but it's taking counters. It's gonna be interesting if you have, like, any Storm-like deck, because you can, you know, like, get multiple uses out of it, and then, like, draw cards, and it gives you not only mana, but, like, cards. But it's very expensive in order to get your card back. I don't think it's very good, though. The Dora Explorer backpack. I kind of don't really like it. That being said, I'm probably going to play this a lot. I'm probably going to play this a lot in the beginning. Just kind of dirtle around with it, but it doesn't seem very interesting. I think I'm happy to give it probably a D+ here. Let's give it a D+. It's, yeah, it doesn't do much on its own, and it's, I don't know. It's not only when you play a card, it has to be instant sorcery. Yeah, I think overall, it seems very difficult to use. I'm pretty unexcited about it. Okay, next card here, Reflective Golem. 3 mana, 2/3. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Reflective Golem, you may pay 2. If you do copy that spell, you may choose new targets for the copy. So weird. So weird. So it's on casting, right? So it's not like you can just go infinite with infinite mana. I mean, maybe it's a decent Boros card or like is a card or something. The cost seems kind of reasonable, though a little bit expensive, pay 2, but yeah, I've got no idea about this card. I can see this card going up or down. Where do I want to start it as? I just want to start it as a D, I think. I just want to start this at a D. Stat line's not exciting, doesn't do much on its own. I think I'm starting this off at a D. It is quite expensive. It is quite expensive. No, not B. D is in Deathsie. D is in Deathsie. All right. All right, and then that is all of the uncommons for the colorless cards. So we are going to be moving on to the rares. All right, Cody. This is our card reveal. Now, Cody, we love this little guy. This little guy, this little girl, this little book. 3 mana, 1/4. You can't cast permanent spells, alright? 4 mana, tap, add Wooburg. Whenever you cast your next spell this turn, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile an instant or sorcery card with lesser mana value. So essentially you're cascading your spells into other spells in your deck. Sorry, your instant and sorceries into other instant sorceries in your deck. So end of turn, you may cast a card without paying its mana cost, put each other card exiles away on the bottom of your library in a random order. So I think this card's actually kind of cool. At least in the beginning, I'm going to be playing this card a lot. I actually want to start this off at a B. I think I want to start this off at a B. So the reason being is that I can control when I cast Cody, right? You can't cast permanent spells. But the thing is that Cody is kind of a card that has to be killed on sight. If there is like an arrest in the format where, you know, this thing cannot be activated, yet also I can't get rid of it and it stays on the battlefield and I lose, well, so be it. But I'm actually pretty excited about this. I think that you can have some pretty degenerate deck building and, you know, we're going to farm those Twitch clips with Cody. So pretty excited about it. Let's just give it a flat B for limited. Give it a flat B. Alright, next card here, Strixhaven Stadium. Is this Quidditch? 3 mana artifact. Add 1 mana, put a point counter on Strixhaven Stadium. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, remove a point counter from Strixhaven Stadium. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, put a point counter on Strixhaven Stadium. Then, if it has 10 or more point counters on it, remove them all, and that player loses the game. Wait! Huh? Wait. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, put a point counter on Strixhaven. Then, if it has 10 or more point counters on it, remove them all, and that player loses the game. Okay, so you can't lose from your own Strixhaven Stadium, right? You can't lose... Wait, can you lose to your own? You can't lose to your own, right? Ah! You can't lose to your own? Alright. I thought, when I first read this, I thought that you can lose to your own Strixhaven Stadium. Imagine paying 3 mana to do nothing, and then losing because you paid 3 mana to do nothing. Okay, so this thing can have like a minus 19 counters or whatever, right? If your opponent's smacking it with a 1/1 every turn. No. Yeah, 10 individual instances of damage. Sorry, 10 individual creature attacks, not even instances of damage. Combat is like 1 instance of damage, right? Oh, minus 19 would be 0. Oh, you can't have negative counters on it. I see. Okay, so... Alright, so you can tap to add... It's actually kind of cool. It's actually kind of cool because it taps to add counters as well. And then you also get counters when you attack. So, without the tapping to add a counter on it, I think it's like pretty impossible. This card is actually just sweet, man. This card is actually just sweet. This card is sweet. It's obviously going to take like certain decks for it, but this card can work in like a hyper control deck, or it can work in like an aggro deck against a life gain opponent. Alright, it might be a little bit specific. This card is kind of sweet, man. Though, I will imagine a lot of times people are just gonna die, though. People are just gonna die before this happens. I don't know. This card seems kind of cool, man. Huh. And it adds mana. And it adds mana. And it adds mana. This card seems sweet, man. Alright, we're gonna give this an A. We're gonna give it an A for artifact. This card seems sweet. Alright, it's probably like some sort of magical, mythical, fantasy, Magic the Gathering land, but dude, this card seems awesome. Alright, this card's awesome. Let's play some Quidditch. In some decks, it's gonna be win more, especially if you're like a red-green attacking deck, right? But imagine if you're like a black-white silver quill deck or something, and you're just poking away with a flyer or whatever. Imagine this in an Orzhov deck in Guilds of Ravnica. Or sorry, in Ravnica Allegiance. It's actually pretty powerful, right? So we'll see. We'll see. They're pretty sweet, and it's flexible as well in terms of it adds mana and it adds point counters without attacking. So let's give us an A. All right, next card here, Wandering Archaic. What is this? What is this triangle in the top left? What the hell is that? All right, 5 mana, 4/4. Whenever an opponent casts an instant sorcery spell, they may pay 2. If they don't, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Damn, that seems really actually annoying for the opponent. Oh, it's an MDFC? The hell is this? What? Okay, the backside is Explore the Vastlands, 3 mana sorcery. Each player looks at the top 5 cards of their library, reveals a land and or an instant or sorcery card from among them. Put the cards they reveal this way into their hand, the rest on the bottom of their library in a random order. Each player gains 3 life. Why is this effect symmetrical though? Each player looks at the top 5 cards of their library, reveals a land and or instant or sorcery from among them. Puts the cards revealed, the rest on the bottom. I mean, if you're a control deck and you're not dying against an aggro deck, your cards are going to be better, right? Your land is going to be more valuable as well most of the time, which is interesting. But the front side seems pretty good. It is obviously understated. 5 mana for a 4/4 is not exciting, but it does go in any deck. And also, it has this taxation effect that is not symmetrical, unlike the backside. Actually, really cool. Really cool. I actually like it. Let's start this off at an A-. I actually like it. Because imagine if you're just ahead. If anyone's played, if anybody's played Hearthstone back in the day, this kind of feels like Lotheb, but it's permanent. So basically, you like in an aggressive deck, you play this 5-drop, 5 mana 4/4, you curve out into it, and your opponent is just like basically screwed. Because they're so far behind that they can't pay for this. Lotheb, what a throwback. Yeah, Lotheb gave you a 1-turn window that basically made all of your opponent's non-creature stuff be super expensive. Yeah, so this is basically just Lotheb. All right, Wandering Archaic. Let's start off as an A-. Pretty excited about it. All right. Mythic card, Mascot Exhibition. All right, Mascot Exhibitionist. Weird chat, man. All right, 7 mana. It's a lesson. Create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. A 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. And a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. All right. Could you, like, not make it more complicated? Okay, so the 2/1 is not only Strixhaven, is not only Silver Quill. It's an Inkling creature token flying. The 3/2 white, red and white spirit creature token does not have flying. The 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token doesn't have text either. So one of them just randomly has flying for whatever reason. So it is a lesson. So we'll see how lessons interact with other cards. This card, if lessons are good, I mean, this card is just like the nuts, right? This card is a nuts. Like, if you can, I don't know, fetch a lesson or something, or like discount lessons, this card's got to be the nuts. Can I skip this lesson? I know. Okay, Ian. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, actually. Because the thing is that even without fetching this from your deck, if you just put it in your deck, it's actually a very serviceable card. Especially it being a sorcery, right? It being like a creature or something, it's different. But sorcery, there's usually just a lot of ways to kind of abuse sorceries, instant sorceries. It seems sweet to me. Like this could be like A tier, and I could honestly even bump it up if there are synergies with lessons. So I think I'm gonna start this off with an A. It just seems good to me. Don't just win the game, win the crowd. That's right. All right. So once again, I could see this going up, I could see it going down, but 7 mana for this without anything else is already pretty decent. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the multicolored cards. Multicolored cards. All right, let's check this out. First one here. Make your mark. Red-white split spell. Instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When that creature dies this turn. What do you mean when? What do you mean when, bro? A little bit, oh man. A little bit of a Debbie Downer here. Create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. That is, like, pretty sick. So, it's interesting. This is obviously good because you can use it on tokens and stuff as well. But if you think about it, like, kind of like, you know, those black instant spells that are usually like +2/+0. Count Fang, thank you so much for the 500 bits. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for the daily 500 bits. Yeah, when, not if. It's actually really interesting. If you compare it to the traditional black +2/+0 type of cards, instant speed cards that bring the creature back, using it on a small creature, you do get a better stat line here. It brings back a 3/2. I think it's interesting, but the main problem here is that the +1/+0 is not that exciting, right? So it'll depend on, I don't know. It's weird. It almost feels like a lose-lose situation, right? If you like +1/+0 and it trades off for a 3 and you get a 3/2 token, I don't know. Like, you lost your creature, and then if you go +1/+0 and you didn't kill your thing, then you paid a 1 mana +1/+0. It's just not very exciting, though it is flexible. I kind of don't like it. I think I want to start this off as a D+. I think it's interesting, but the problem is that it doesn't scale very well. It is exciting if you're extremely mana efficient, and you can trade off everything, and then you basically have a 1 mana 3/2, and you trade it up with something, but it seems really specific. I think I'm just gonna give it a D+. Unexciting, a waste of space. I mean, it's not unplayable, but I am gonna give it a D. All right, next card here, Cram Session. 2 mana Golgari split card. Guys, what's Golgari called? Is Golgari Quandrix? I should probably learn these things. This kid is ugly as hell. Hey, come on, bruh. Come on. You can't talk to your classmates like that. Oh, Witherbloom. All right. Witherbloom card, 2 mana. You gain 4 life. Learn. You may reveal a lesson card you own. All right, so we're learning about the lessons here, right? We are having a lesson about the lessons. So what exactly is a lesson? So learn. You may reveal a lesson card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand, or discard a card to draw a card. Okay, so even if you don't have a lesson in your sideboard, you can still loot. No, it's not looting, it's rummaging. You discard a card to draw a card. Interesting, it's rummaging, it's not even looting. Okay, so I guess it depends just how good these learn cards are. So the learn cards are really gonna, I mean, it's gonna be both ways, right? It's gonna add a very interesting dynamic to deck building, because sometimes you might just want to play the lesson in your deck. Sometimes you're gonna want to leave it in your board so that you can get value with learn, with a learn mechanic. But at the same time, it's really gonna depend on how good the learn cards are themselves, right? Like you're not gonna play bad learn cards just to get incremental value from your sideboard. Really interesting, actually. Yeah. Because the thing is that this card is not exciting, right? 2 mana, gain 4 life, and get a card. It's just like, it really depends on what the lesson is. If the lesson was a 7 mana mythic lesson, then this card is like one of the best cards in your deck. It not only buys you time to cast the 7 mana thing, but also you get the 7 mana card. But in general, I think that we just have to rate the cards kind of standalone. Probably after, Ian. Probably after. This is one of the worst ways to learn cram session. I mean, this is how I learned in school. This is how I learned in school. So, alright. I mean, for the most part, this card is not exciting, right? Let's start this off at a D for the cram session. Atemi says, do you have to play the card to learn, or can you learn without playing it? I believe it's part of the card, and you have to pay for it. Alright, Fractal Summoning. Oh, this is a lesson as well? Oh, guys, this set's gonna be so confusing. I'm gonna be a Boros deck, and then I'm gonna flip open Fractal Summoning off of like a random learn card. Jeez, what the heck? Okay. So this one's Quandrix, right? X green, X Quandrix. It's a sorcery. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creatures and put X +1/+1 counters on it. So once again, this is pretty cool if it's free, but that, I mean, like, it's not really free, right? And it is expensive and overcosted, understated. It's probably going to be like in the C or D range. Probably like a C-. I think let's start us off as C- because it's a lesson. C-, something like that. Like, very unexciting, right? Alright, next card here. Infused with Vitality. 2 mana instant. Until end of turn, target creature gains Death Touch, and when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Okay, so, and then you gain 2 life. So, just like your typical run-of-the-mill black spell that saves your thing. So they're infusing the Strixhaven dude with, or the Silver Quill dude with Vitality. I mean, it does give Death Touch. It's pretty exciting, I guess, but I'm still gonna give this like a C-, I think. Still give this a C-. It does seem pretty good, but once again, I think results are gonna vary quite a lot with it. I think I'm pretty happy with giving us a C-. Just not as exciting as it might look. It's a decent trick, but it's not exciting, and you gain 2 life on top of it. Wither Bloom. Alright, next card here, Needlethorn Drake. 2 mana, 1/1, Flying Death Touch. What? I guess green has Death Touch already, and then blue has Flying. Alright, I guess it makes sense. Flying Death Touch. I actually like this thing a lot. This thing is sweet. Yeah, let's just give this a flat B, I think. It seems cool. As they learn to fly, young drakes have a tendency to accidentally impale trees, cliffs, and unsuspecting students. Oh. It's pretty cool. B, B-, something like that. Let's start off as a B. Prismari Pledge Mage. I love these flexible costs on these cards. It creates a lot of interesting things when it comes to deck building and drafting. Alright, it's a Alright, Defender. What are you doing, bro? Defender, 3/3. Magecraft. Whenever you copy an instant sorcery spell, Prismari Pledge Mage can attack this turn as though it didn't have Defender. I mean, it's flexible, but man. It does block, though. It does block, but I'm pretty unexcited about this. I think let's give this a C-. It's just not exciting. It's just not exciting. It is really not exciting. It seems like a good sideboard card, but beyond that, just very unexciting. So, alright. Let's go next here. Square Up. Yo, this art is so cool. Alright. Quandrix, right? 2 mana, instant. Target creature has base power and toughness 4/4 until end of turn. This is like the card we saw in Ikoria. That's cycling on it. Once again, it's flexible, but just not very exciting. I think I'm happy to give this a flat D. Just, this is not going to make your deck most of the time. It's not a trick that I think is extremely valuable. It's going to be fine if you have counters and stuff, but yeah, just very unexciting here. I think I'm going to give this a D. I really do not want to be putting this in my deck. And if you need a cut, it's going to be a pretty easy cut, right? From almost all decks. Alright, next card here, Teach by Example. 2 mana instant. Whenever you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose your targets. Man, these sort of reverberate effects are just not very exciting. I thought it was going to be so cool because of artwork, but really just not that interested. Really just not that interested in it. Yeah, all of the cards are now out. Just not that interested in it. Teach by Example by not putting this in your deck. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a D-, I think. Let's give this a D-. Oh, gets you 3 Magecraft triggers. That's actually very interesting. So, I guess first trigger is this instant, and then you copy the next one, which then cast that one. No, it gives you 2 Magecraft triggers, right? How's this 3? It's just 2, right? First, cast this. Copy. How's it 3? Oh, I cast this, and then I cast the thing that you're copying, and then you copy the spell again. Oh, I see. I see. Does that make it better? All right. Let's give it a flat D though. But all right, maybe this card is potent in like some sort of Magecraft deck. Again, we have no idea, or I have no idea what the Magecraft cards are. So next card here, Thrilling Discovery, 2 mana. Yes, I am Dante at the end. Thrilling Discovery, 2 mana, sorcery. You gain 2 life. Then you may discard 2 cards. If you do, draw 3 cards. Alright, so this is just a fancy... what's it called? Whatever it's called. You guys know what I'm talking about. Cathartic Reunion? Is it Cathartic Reunion? A lot better versus counter spells. That's true. Like, the templating it is better because you don't have to discard the cards, right? And then you don't get blown out. But overall, still not very exciting, I think. Just gonna give this one a D. Start this off as a D. Next card here, Biomathematician. Wow. Really wearing all the hats. 3 mana, 2/2, enters the battlefield. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put a counter on each fractal you control. This is like a cool card. This seems like a bread and butter card for Quandrix. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put a counter on each fractal you control. Seems pretty sweet, actually. I think let's just go ahead and start this off at a B. Starts off at a B. I assume that there's gonna be more, fractal stuff, but it's already pretty decent. On basically 3 mana 2/2 with an extra 1/1 and 2 bodies. So starts off at a B for Biomathematician. Yeah, and at common you can build around it potentially, right? Next card here, Blood Researcher, 3 mana 2/2 menace. Whenever you gain life, put a counter on Blood Researcher. Interesting. Whenever you gain life, so I assume black and green are going to be gaining a decent amount of life. It's interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. Probably C+. I think I'm going to start this off at a C+. I'm still pretty unexcited when cards start out understated. And you need work to make it good as well, right? I think I'm going to start this off as a C+. I don't want to put this in the B range, I don't think. I think it's going to be a card that's fine if you're black-green and you have life gain stuff, which I assume not all black-green decks are going to have life gain stuff. And it takes kind of a specific hand and a specific situation for this card to really shine. It's going to be when you're on the play and you also have other synergies that you can actually leverage a 3-mana 2/2. So, just happy to give it a C+. Next card here, Inkling Summoning. 3 mana. Create a 2/1 black-white Inkling creature token with flying. Oh, it's a lesson! It's a lesson! It's kind of cool, man. That's kind of cool. I think I'm pretty happy about this card. Like, yes, 3 mana 2/1 flyer is pretty expensive, but if you get it off of a lesson, that's pretty sweet, and it's flexible for quite a lot of decks. I think I'm going to give this a B-. Let's go ahead and start this off at a B-. Very happy with Inkling Summoning. Seems kind of perfectly costed, actually. Yeah, what a cute little Inkling. Yo, I love this Inkling. This could be the mascot of Deathsie's Dueling Academy. Alright, next card here, Lorehold Pledge Mage. 3 mana 2/2 first strike. Has Magecraft as well. Whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, Pledge Mage gets +1/+0 until end of turn. I mean, it's not bad. It's also not exciting. I think I'm gonna give this a flat C. 3 mana 2/2 first strike is definitely not bad, and it's like really hard to interact with, I guess, but overall, still not very excited about it. I could see it being higher. It could be better in some decks even, but the payoff on this one is just not that good, right? Decent, though. Decent. At the end of the day, though, still 3 mana 2/2. Our next card here, Pest Summoning. 3 mana sorcery lesson. Create 2 1/1 black and green pest creature tokens with whenever this creature dies, you gain 1 life. Gigantosaurus, I have no idea. Usually my policy on that is gonna be card quality over numbers. Like, instead of having like aiming for a certain number of a split, it's just gonna be card quality. 2 1/1 black and green pest creature tokens. I mean, this card is like pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Not quite as good as the Inkling, probably, unless, you know, tokens matter, but still pretty decent. I think I'm happy with either C+ or a B-. I think let's start this off at a B- here. How early do you think you start looking for lessons? I mean, we haven't seen many cards yet, but I could imagine some decks that I'm just like a super lesson deck. That my sideboard is all lessons, and I'm running like 18, 19 lands in my main board. And I'm just basically picking up lessons and trying to pick up learn cards. And that's just my entire deck. Like, my entire deck is going to be from the sideboard. I don't know where to go from there, but I definitely can see that. Alright, so let's go ahead and start this off at a B-. Next card here, Quandrix Pledge Mage. 3 mana 2/2 Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy. Alright, I'm going to stop even saying that. Alright, Magecraft, put a counter on Quandrix Pledge Mage. It feels like it's so much work. Is this format about just building Voltron creatures and stuff? It seems like it's so much work. It's honestly, all these cards are going to depend on just how efficient removal is in this format and what the stat lines are. It seems like it's just so much work. I think I'm going to start this off at just a flat C. It's a flat C. Yeah, it doesn't have any keywords. It's just a 3 mana 2/2, and yes, it's flexible to cast it. And then it's just growing very slowly. Next card here, Silver Quill Pledge Mage. 3 mana 3/1. Magecraft. Silver Quill Pledge Mage gains your choice of flying or lifelink as an end of turn. It's cool. It's cool. Sometimes you can like fly and lifelink in the same turn, but again, just not that exciting. It's just not that exciting. Just really not that exciting. Like, you're working to get your 3 mana 3/1 in. Like, 3 mana 3/1 has been a stat line that is just not good in Magic for a long time. Just very unexciting. I think give it a C-. Give this a C-. Just very unexciting here. Very unexciting. Next card here, Spectacled Mage. 3 mana, 2/2, Bird Shaman, flying. Instant and sorcery spells you cast with mana value 5 or greater. Cost 1 less to cast. Alright, so this thing is cute AF, man. What the hell? This thing is so cute. Holy cow. You're a Bird Shaman? You're a Bird Shaman? Can I take you home? Oh my god. What the heck? Instant sorcery spells you cast with mana value 5. Alright, this is so weird, right? Why does it say mana value 5 or greater? What's the difference between mana value and converted mana cost? Or is this a new templating for converted mana cost? Alright guys, if you guys want to help me out and rate the art on cards as well, if you guys think a card is art, you guys can use this emote here. You guys can use Deathsie art here. Oh, it's a new templating. Alright. It's a new templating. Alright. It's a new templating. Damn, Deathsie's a furry. Guys, I don't want to do dirty stuff to this thing. What the heck? Interesting, Toby. Yeah, that sounds interesting. It's like kind of Hearthstone-esque. Mana value is mana cost when it's on the stack. So confusing. Is this true? That's so confusing. So mana value is not converted mana cost? Okay, whatever. Interesting card. I kind of like it. I'm still gonna give it a C though, but it's a sweet card. Artwork is like A+, probably A+ tier. Caroline, great art. It is CMC. Okay. Next card here, Spirit Summoning, 3 mana. It's a sorcery lesson. Create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. So it seems like every single guild has their own type of token. But it seems like Quandrix has both fractals and 4/4 elementals for whatever reason. But Silver Quill has a 2/1. This has a 3/2, or maybe they're not the same. And then Witherbloom seems to have the 1/1s, right? 1/1 frogs. This is interesting. Like 3 mana 3/2 is just solid, right? For free, for quote unquote free out of the sideboard. Card advantage. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I think I just want to give this a B. I'm actually really excited about this because I can see my white-based control decks learning and then just being able to play a 3 mana 3/2 which contests maybe even 4 drops. I'm actually really excited about it. Oh, 4/4 elementals are in blue and red. I see. I'm actually pretty excited about this card. This card is kind of different than the 2/1 flyer in Silver Quill, which I think I also gave a B, didn't I? But this card can contest actually just more units because it just has more stats. I'm actually excited about it, so. White spirit creature have flying? No. If it doesn't say it has flying here, then it doesn't have flying. But the Silver Quill one has flying. Next card here, Stonebound Mentor. 3 mana 3/3. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, scry 1. What the hell? In white red? I can see this in like a black deck or something. But in white red? That's so confusing. So the thing is that the upside is not very high either. Scry 1. That's so weird. I mean, this card is nothing special, right? I think. Just give it a flat C. Just nothing special. It could even be a C-, honestly. 3 mana 3/3, like whatever, right? Honestly, let's give this a C-. Could see this even going down to D tier. Next card here, Eureka Moment. 4 mana, instant. Draw 2 cards and we put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Yes! Yes, that's what I want my divination or my, my draw 2 to do. That's what I want. We put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. Yes. Yes. 4 mana growth spiral. I mean, but you draw 2 cards, right? This card is awesome. This card is awesome. Honestly, I could even give this an A. Let's just give this an A, man. Screw it. I don't even care. If I have blue and green mana in my deck, I'm always playing these cards, right? It's always going to be good. Like, this card is just, like, the nuts Multicolored Common. I mean, this card is just better than Growth Spiral in most decks, right? A lot of decks don't care about Growth Spiral, but this deck is sweet. But this card is sweet because you also draw more cards to be able to put more lands up. Just very, very awesome. Oh! It's also untapped. The land is untapped. That's actually very important as well. Because on like 5 mana, you can go Eureka Moment, play a land into a 2-drop, right? It's actually very important. Alright, this card is awesome. Let's give it an A. That also has standard implications as well. Next card here, Exhilarating Elocution. Wow, the artwork is so good. Yo, isn't this artwork the nuts? This is like dark Hufflepuff vibes. Dude, this is art. 4 mana sorcery, put 2 counters on target creature you control. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Very unexciting. I'm extremely unexcited about this, though. The thing is that the initial one are counters, but overall, just very unexcited about it, I think. I'm gonna start this at either a C or even a D, maybe. I think, let's just give it a flat D. Let's start it off with a flat D. It's very hard to use, it's not a trick. The other creatures you control don't keep the +1/+1. Alright, next card here. Moldering Karok. 4 mana, 3/3, trample lifelink. Damn, bro. Damn. It's a reasonable sized thing with lifelink. And it has trample. Trample lifelink is super weird, to be honest. It is so weird. Like, lifelink Death Touch makes more sense. Lifelink Menace makes more sense. Lifelink Trample is so weird. Actually, so weird. I'm a huge fan of this card, though. I'm a huge fan of this card. Especially if, I don't know, like, it doesn't ask for much. It doesn't ask for much. Like, this card can just win games on, basically swing games on its own. I'm actually really excited about it. I want to give this somewhere in the B to even A range. This might just be the best black-green common. I think that this is not in the C range. Like, this card is actually very good. 3/3 for 4, but you need to think about the keywords it has. Like, these keywords are worth a lot of stats. Start this off at a B+. B+. I can see this easily going to A, depending on basically how the colors play out and how you can alter the stat line. Alright, Queasy. Thanks for hanging out. Will you ever first pick this? Probably, yeah. So the interesting thing about this card is that this card works in a lot of different archetypes, right? So say if you're an aggressive deck, the trample, even if the lifelink doesn't matter, which lifelink still matters most of the time in an aggressive deck, but the trample is actually very relevant. If you're a more controlling deck and I'm like trying to play lessons and that I'm trying to play learn cards and grab lessons from my board, this is actually going to be very important, right? So this card actually plays a lot of roles. I can imagine it playing a lot of roles. So I'm actually pretty happy to give it a B+. I can see it going up to an A. Alright, next card. I just don't think that this is in the C range. This is just not a C-type card for me. Next card here, Spiteful Squad. Spiteful Squad. 4 mana, 0/0. Exciting. It's a human warlock, Death Touch. It enters the battlefield with 2 counters on it. When Squad dies, put its counters on target creature you control. 4 mana, 2/2, but it's Death Touch and their counters, and they put the counters on something else. This is an interesting card. I don't know how good this is going to be yet, but I could imagine, like, you know, you have a random 2/1 Inkling token, and then you can just put counters on it. It's actually pretty exciting. It's either going to be, it's going to be somewhere in the C to B range for me. Now, how exactly do we want to do this? Bullies! Bullies, I mean, why do you think I'm so mean, right? Silver Quill, brother. Silver Quill. This is a really interesting card. A really interesting card. Because the thing is that generally you don't want Death Touch on your expensive units. You want Death Touch on, like, your crappy, cheap stuff, right? If you're paying a 4 mana for a 2/2, even though it gets counters on something else, it's still maybe not as good as it looks. I think I'm going to start this off at a C. Start Starts off at a C. I guess we can give it a C plus for the gradient rating. So yeah, let's start this off at a C for the flat rating, C plus for the gradient rating. It stops all ground attacks. I mean, that's what Death Touch does. All right, next card here. Ooh, Elemental Summoning. Wow. Create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token, and obviously it's a lesson. This card is sweet, man. This card is sweet. You can play it in a Boros deck. You can play it in a, you know, in an Izza deck. You can play it in a multicolored control deck. This card is awesome. This card is awesome, man. I think I'm actually just very happy about it. I'm very happy about this. I think I want to give this an A. I think I'm happy to give this one an A. This feels like an A tier common for me because it has so many intersecting dimensions. It just does a lot. You can also just play this in your deck that cares about, you know, basically prowess or metalcraft, magecraft. I'm actually just very excited about this card. I'm actually just going to give this an A. The art is a little bit underwhelming. The art is a little bit underwhelming, but I like this card a lot for what it does. Obviously, a 5-mana 4/4 is not exciting, but this card has a lot more implications than that. Wapox, thank you so much for the 17 months. There's only one time here, and it's time to duel. You're an S tier student here at the Dueling Academy. Wapox, thank you so much. Welcome back. There's only one time here, and it's time to duel. One more month until a year and a half and a new badge. Thank you so much, Wapox. Welcome back. This card seems awesome. Like, I can see first picking this out of a lot of packs, right? Love it. Oh, you love this art? I think it's okay. I mean, you know what? It's pretty sweet now that I see this girl here. But I think this image is a little bit low quality is a thing. So this art is probably better, even. Alright. Ogyar Battle Seer. 5-mana 3/4. Haste Scry 1. I don't know how I feel about this. It can attack, it can scry. I am so confused. Mike, thank you so much! Yo! A year and a half here at the Dueling Academy. 18 months and a new skull badge. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Space Skull badge. There's only one time here, and it's time to duel. Thank you so much, Mike. Welcome back to the #1 Deathsie Dueling Academy. Thank you so much for the freaking 18 months here. Great to have you here, Mike. Thank you. How often would you main deck the Elemental? It depends on the deck, right? Sorry, it's going to depend on the draft. Depends on the draft. So that last Elemental is a filler card in a deck that cares about a magecraft. Or even like a fine card. But it can also... It can range to being filler to maybe your best card, even. What are we doing here with this? MGT, man, I kind of feel that as well. It wasn't that long ago that Kaldheim was here. I feel that as well. Well, that's a good sign, right? That's a good sign. Yes, Toby. So there are cards that are called Learn, and basically you get a lesson from your sideboard. You can get a lesson from your sideboard and put it in your hand. Or, if you don't have a lesson, you can also rummage. So you can discard a card and draw a card instead. Actually, lesson seems like an awesome mechanic, but we'll see how good the lesson cards are. Okay, I don't know how I feel about this. It's certainly interesting. I think I'm gonna start off as just like a C-. It seems serviceable. It seems understated, though it does have haste and it can attack. But then, like, the punchline is tap to scry. I don't know. C-. I can see this being even worse than that, but yeah. C-. I can see it being in the D tier, to be honest. All right. Owlin Shield Mage. Is Owlin its name? Owlin. Is it like Arlene? 5-mana 3/3 flying. Oh, new keyword here. Ward. So what is this? You pay 3 life. Whenever this creature becomes a target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, counter it unless they pay 3 life. What? So Ward is kind of like a healthy type of hexproof, but it basically is going to alter both players' life totals. So you can pay 3, and then they can pay 3 if they want to counter it. And you cannot pay more than the single 3. It's actually really interesting. It's actually super interesting. So this is obviously going to favor the aggressor, right? This is going to favor the aggressor. At the end of the day, it's still a 5-mana 3/3. Kind of unexciting, but I don't know. Kind of unexciting. I think I'm going to start this off as just a C. You don't pay 3? Well, what do you mean you don't pay 3? What do you mean you don't pay 3? You'll never pay 3? Oh, you don't pay 3? Oh! It just has it passively. So if they target it, then they have to pay 3. Oh, I see, I see, I see. Oh, you never paid 3 life? Oh, I see. Oh. Interesting. So they need to pay life as well as a spell. It's actually kind of cool. It's actually kind of cool. Okay, so I think I'm going to start this off at a C+. I think I'm going to start this off at a C+. Really interesting. Let's give it a C+. Yeah, the ward costs are different, right? Okay, that makes sense. In the past, it would have been like ward 3, right? Which is interesting. It's not really Grasping Thrall vibes. Grasping Thrall did a lot because even if you didn't interact with it, like it had something, it did something when it entered the battlefield. This card here is not like that, but it's still annoying to deal with. But yeah, it's really gonna depend. Interesting. Start off at C+. Next card here, Relic Sloth. Ooh, what the heck? Is this Star Wars? 5 mana, 4/4 Vigilance, Menace. Vigilance, Menace. What in the world? Can't tell at all. I want this to be in the C-, D+ range. Again, Vigilance is not bad, but does a red-white deck want this? I don't know. Menace is pretty big, but still. I don't know. It starts off at a C-, I guess. C-. Interesting. Interesting card. Usually Boros doesn't care about crap like this, though. So maybe I should just give it a D. Alright, never mind. Let's start this out as a D+. I mean, again, it's because it's in Boros. Boros just doesn't care about crap like this. It's not a bad card, but it's usually, this would usually be a bad card for Boros, though. How many cards left? Like, all of them? Alright, next card here, Witherbloom Pledge Mage. 5 mana, 5/5. Magecraft, you gain 1 life. I mean, it's a 5 mana, 5/5, but it's really going to depend on the stat lines in the format. Cards is very unexciting. You start to gain life. Basically, 6... at the very soonest, turn 6/6 mana and above. Just very unexciting. I'm just not excited about this card at all. I think I'm going to give this one a D as well. Let's give this a D+, I guess. It'll really depend on how serviceable 5/5 is, and again, it's flexible, so we'll see. Next card here, Rise of Extus. 6 mana. Whoa, this artwork is amazing. 6 mana. Sorcery. Exile target creature. Exile up to 1 target instant or sorcery from a graveyard. And you get a learn. You get a lesson card from your sideboard, or you get to rummage. Discard a card to draw a card. I think this card is actually awesome. What in the world? This is like in the B to A range for me. Maybe it can't be an A since it's so expensive, but this card is awesome. Awesome. So, I was talking a little bit before about potentially having some sort of control deck where all I'm doing is just learning and casting cards from my sideboard, and that's the entire deck. This card really ties that deck together. This would probably be a first pickable card if I'm just like on that archetype anyways. I could honestly just give this an A. Because it's not only a big removal spell, it's also an engine. Small engine. You can rebuy a lesson from your graveyard. Wait, really? Wait, how can you rebuy a lesson from your graveyard? You can't rebuy a lesson from your graveyard. Exile up to 1 target instant sorcery from your graveyard. I mean, this card doesn't rebuy it. Exile is not outside the game. Exile is in the game. Yeah, you cannot. You cannot. But honestly, so this might be high for this card, but I'm honestly super happy about this card. And I may or may not be biased by the artwork. This is like one of my favorite artworks I've seen in the format so far. But yeah, I'm just gonna give this an A-. I think this card is actually just ridiculous, and it's flexible in the mana cost for a lot of different types of decks. Because you could be like a black-green deck and just play this, right? I think this card is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's just go ahead and give this an A-. Alright. Elemental Masterpiece. Elemental Hero Masterpiece. 7 mana sorcery. Create 2 4/4 blue and red elemental creature tokens. Or you can pay 2 mana to discard Elemental Masterpiece, create a treasure token. Yo. I love the modal effects on these cards. This card is awesome. Awesome, awesome. I'm going to give this a B-. I'm going to give this a B-. It's expensive, but it has a built-in failsafe. And it seems like Blue-Red cares about, you know, Magecraft, blah, blah, blah. Casting spells and stuff. This makes 2 bodies. And also, sometimes it'll be like a very expensive way to create a treasure token, but I assume that red blue probably has ways to get cards back from the graveyard as well. I think it's actually just really cool. It's really cool. I'm starting this off at a B-. It's true that the failsafe doesn't seem that great, but a failsafe is a failsafe, right? Maybe not. I don't know. It's like a pretty impactful card as well. This card is Starnheim Leashed. That's really funny. Starnheim Leashed, huh? This card is really sweet. Okay. So, a B- might be very high on this, but it seems very exciting. So, let's give us a B-. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the uncommons. Alright. Let's check it out here. So, starting with the first multicolored uncommon card, Deadly Brew. 2 mana sorcery. Each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If you sacrifice a permanent this way, you may return another permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so it's a symmetrical sacrifice effect, but you get a bonus that you can return another permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. You may return another permanent card. So you cannot return the thing that you just sacked, basically, right? So the thing is that you can still sacrifice a token, because it still counts as a permanent. And then you can get something else back. So the card you sacrifice doesn't have, like, it can be a token, right? Actually, really interesting. It's gonna depend on just, I guess, how tokeny the format is. And from what we've seen from the lessons, there are quite a lot of tokens. But I really don't know how I feel about this. You guys like it as a B or an A? I kind of want to just give this a C. Ah, Wapox, thank you, thank you. So, okay, so more in Strixhaven. I kind of just want to give this a C. I'm just not excited about this card for the most part. Edict effects are very, very difficult to use, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of tokens in the format. So, although this could be exciting to, like, just buy something back much later on, the sacrifice itself is not that exciting. So, it is cheap, but it's also difficult to use. It's still technically a 2-for-1, but the quality of the 2-for-1 is going to vary a lot, right? So, I'm very happy to give this a C. C, even a C-. Alright. Next here. Decisive Denial. 2 mana, instant. Choose one. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control, so that's already quite good. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller plays 3. Yeah, this card is so toxic, man. This card is so toxic. This card is so toxic. It's actually non-creature mana leak. It's actually non-creature mana leak together with you know, Prey Upon at instant speed. Yeah, I think I'm happy to give this a B. Just give this a flat B. Just a very solid card. If you're playing blue-green, it's always gonna make the deck. It has a lot of different utility in different decks as well. I like it when cards are kind of weird, kind of like the 4 mana 3/3 that we saw a while back as Trample and Lifelink. Just whenever you combine two things that don't really supposed to go together, you basically allow a lot of different options for deck building. So, really happy about this card. Let's give it a B. Next card here, Dina, Soul Steeper. What the? Don't drink your tea, brothers. 2 mana, 1/3. Legendary Dryad Druid. What the hell? Dryad and Druid are two different things? Isn't a Dryad a Druid? I'm so confused. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. Whoa. That's pretty powerful. 1 mana, sacrifice to the creature. Dina gets +X+O until end of turn, where X is a sacrifice creature's power. So it's not going to give it any sort of toughness, but actually a pretty exciting card. And it's a sack outlet. Dryad is like a tree spirit fairy. Then what's a druid? Is a druid like a tree? This card is sweet though. This card is sweet though. I think let's start our Dina at a B+. Start out Dina at a B+. As a D&D expert, they're not the same. Dryad is a tree lady, druid is a nature wizard. Okay. Trees, nature, what's the difference? I don't go aside. This is a really cool card. Let's start this off at a B+. All right, next card here, Expressive Iteration. God, freaking Prismari, artistic students. 2 mana, sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand. Put one of them on the bottom of your library and exile one of them. You may play the exiled card this turn. Whoa, this card is kind of cool, man. Because you not only... So normally these sort of cards just replace themselves. But you can play it, and you can play a land. This card is actually awesome. Prismari. Freaking Prismari hippies, man. This card is awesome. This card is actually really awesome. It's good early, good late. Just very happy about this card. Yeah, nothing goes in the grave, but it's okay. Prismari students dance in the tension between passion and imperfection. Alright, either B or B+. I think I'm happy with the B+ for this card. This card is awesome. Can certainly see first picking it. This card also goes in a lot of decks, assuming that you can cast this. Really happy about this. Nerds. Alright. Next card here, Fracture. 2 mana, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. But it doesn't destroy the most important thing, which is a creature. Alright, guys. You guys know what I'm going to give this, right? Hello, Kai. How's it going? You guys know what grade we're going to give this, right? Yeah, we're going to give this a D. We're going to give this the D. Actually, even a D-. Yeah, let's give it a D- here. It looks fancy, but guys, it's just a disenchant. It's actually just a disenchant. Let's just give it a D-. I mean, in best of 3 has sideboard implications, right? It's pretty good in constructed, yeah. Constructed sideboard, pretty exciting. Against the control decks, especially. Alright. Humiliate. 2 mana? Jeez. Man, these Silver Quill students are terrible. But I kind of like it. Alright, Humiliate. 2 mana, sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. I like it already. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards a card, put a counter on creature you control. Wait, is this non-land card? Wait a second here. Wait a second here. Put a counter on target creature. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm actually a fan. I'm a fan of this card. I think let's give this a B-. Yeah, it's kind of like Total Invasion, actually. Non-land is huge. You don't have to pay life for it. Let's give it a B-. The weird thing about this is that unless you play a 1-drop, you aren't going to get the counter value. But honestly, the counter value doesn't matter. The counter value is just going to give something later. This will never be an A for me. This could be a high C, low B. But I'm going to start off at a B-. Scroll of the Invasion. Krillin. Krillin Ink Duelist. Jeez, why is fighting with ink so hilarious to me? It is just so funny. Like, if I were fighting someone who's fighting with ink, I am not even worried about getting hurt. I just don't want my clothes to get ruined. And the ink is gonna just, like, mess up your skin as well, right? Like, that ink is gonna stick on your skin for, like, a week. I would be so upset to fight against that. I would just run away. Wear all black. I mean, that's why I wear all black. Because my time in Silver Quill College, we had a lot of in-college rumbles. It was quite rowdy in there. 2 mana, 2/2. Oh, it's a legendary. All right, lifelink, menace. Spells you cast a targeted creature cost 2 less to cast. Wait a second. Wait a second here. 2 mana, 2/2 lifelink menace, and you get to discount your spells for whatever reason in black-white. Usually white taxes, you know? This is like the reverse tax. You're taxing, I don't know, like you're basically getting a tax break. I think I'm just gonna give this a flat A. The target spells you cast the target A creature. Spells you cast a target A creature cost 2 less to cast. I don't see what you mean. Discount on tricks, discount on removal. I think it's awesome, right? Just awesome, awesome. Just give it a flat A. Not even A minus. Just give it a flat A. This card is awesome. Yes, yes. Finally, Krillin is relevant. All right, next card here, Lorehold Apprentice. 2 mana, 2/2, Magecraft. Until end of turn, spirit creatures you control gain tap. This creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. Whoa, is there a spirit deck? I mean, you can play the Silver Quill spirits in your deck, right? No, the spirits. No, the spirits are the 3/2s. Really interesting card. I don't know. I don't know. So it doesn't stack on the same turn. Say like if you have spirit creatures out and then you play like 2 spells, it's like you're not gonna deal. Each one's not gonna deal 2. But pretty interesting. But I mean, Boros just wants to attack though, right? Boros just wants to attack though, right? Like, who cares about this? Who cares about this? I think I want to give this a C. I want to start this off at a C. It's definitely not a D, but... Well, I mean, it might actually be a D, but I think I'm going to start this off at a C. It just seems fine. Has an upside to it, but 2 mana, 2/2. Just very unexciting, right? Maybe you'll start this off even as a C minus. So, just a little reminder about spoilers is that basically we're doing the card review based on the information that we know. And while yes, it looks like Lorehold is not supposed to be like the sort of attacking Boros decks that we're normally used to, but we're just basing cards off of what we know. So while yes, it doesn't look like it's the traditional Boros deck. We have seen some red-white combat tricks and stuff, so again, normally red and white cards in general just want to be attacking. So I assume that that's still going to be true for this, because it's not necessarily the color combination in the format, but more of just traditionally red and white and how they want to be playing, right? So it might not be attacking, but even if it's not attacking, is this card that exciting? I highly doubt it. But again, we'll see. But I'm going to start this off at a C+. Sorry, a C-. Alright, next card here, Lorehold Excavation. 2 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, mill a card. Okay, mill. So if it says mill a card, it's just your own library, right? If a land card was milled this way, you gain 1 life. Otherwise, Lorehold Excavation deals 1 damage to each opponent. 2-headed giant, anyone? 5 mana, exile a creature card from your graveyard. Create a tapped 3/2 red and white spirit creature. This card is awesome. So it's 2 mana and you're filling your graveyard. You're excavating, right? You're excavating, you're filling your graveyard. And then you're either gonna gain life or you're gonna deal damage, which is actually very exciting for Boros. And then it also has an activated ability that can exile a creature card from your graveyard at instant speed, but it creates a tapped 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. I can see playing this even in my control decks, depending on how good the fixing is. I'm actually very excited about this card, and it's really going to depend. from what we've seen so far, it seems like Lower Hold has quite a lot of reach, like random reach damage. It almost seems like the Orzhov of the set, you know what I mean? But, yeah, really cool card. I'm gonna start this off at a B-. I think this card is super cool. How good it's gonna be, it's gonna depend. Maybe it'll even be better in, like, not a red-white deck. So, really cool card. I'm very excited about this card. The costs seem reasonable as well. Okay. Next card here, Prismari Apprentice. 2-mana, 2/2, Magecraft. Prismari Apprentice can't be blocked this turn. If that spell had mana value 5 or greater, put a counter on Prismari Apprentice. This card does seem very annoying. This card actually seems not fun. Dude, this artwork is awesome as well. Can we get some Deathsie arts in the chat? This card seems sweet. This card seems sweet. I think I'm gonna start this off at a B. Start this off at a B. If you can be like an aggressive or tempo-based blue-red deck in Prismari, then this card is gonna be really awesome. So let's go ahead and start this off here at a flat B. Alright, Quandrix Apprentice. 2-mana, 2/2, Magecraft. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a land card from among them and put that card into your hand. A land card, alright. As if I wanted to be more of a landlord. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It's kind of cool. It's a take on the sort of Dryad Greenseeker, whatever that card from Theros was called, the Nessian Wander or whatever. That gets spells on Constellation, that grabs lands on Constellation. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I mean, it seems like Quandrix can really be the sort of landlord guild in this format, especially with the 4-mana draw to the Giant Growth Spiral. The Giant Growth Spiral at common. This card's actually kind of exciting. Let's start this off at a B- as well. This card's kind of exciting. We'll see how it plays out. B, A+ for Deathsie though. I mean, does Deathsie really need lands though? Yeah, it seems like Simic and Quandrix both are kind of interested in mana and like going bigger, which relatively makes maybe the lesson spells cheaper and also more valuable. Next card here, Rip Apart. Jeez, man, what the hell? What the hell is Lorehold doing? 2-mana sorcery, choose 1. Rip Apart deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Okay, destroy target artifact or enchantment. This card's perfect. Perfect. Actually, perfect card. Perfect card, right? Like, this is exactly what you want a card to be. S tier art. Torn from history, torn from memory, torn from reality. Alright, I don't understand the flavor in it, but yeah, this is like a Braid Plus. So somewhere in the B+, maybe A- range. Does it really go up to A-? I don't know. I think I'm just gonna give this a B+. I don't really want to put this into the A range. I think it's quite good, but being sorcery changes a lot about like a lightning bolt or a lightning strike, is that it's very different, and it also doesn't go face, right? So I'm happy to give this a B+. I don't think this is in the A range. It's flexible, yes, but you know, still just B+. All right, next card here, Silver Quill Apprentice, 2-mana, 2/2. Human Warlock, Magecraft. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. What is this like Coraline? Coraline artwork? What is this? This card is so weird. So the problem with this card is that the upside is just so low. The upside is so low, right? What is it? C-? D+? Yeah, it looks like Fortnite actually. They really went hard with like trying out different art styles for Strixhaven, which I do like, honestly. I like them trying out a lot of different art. D plus. Sure, let's go with D plus, I guess. D plus. It doesn't even give toughness, man. It, like, enabling attacks doesn't matter that much. Like, most of the time... Okay, so one of the fundamentals in Limited is that when you're attacking, you want your stuff to just trade off. If they trade off and you don't use mana, that's fine. But if you're using mana and using resources, you want them to not trade off. You want to basically, essentially, win the combat, right? You don't want to just, you know, enable attacks and have things trade off. Sometimes it'll attack into lower toughness things, and sure, you can punish them, but it's an onboard trick kind of thing. It's just not very exciting. Let's just go with D+. Very unexciting here. So, Snurksin, thank you so much. Snarikson, welcome back for the 6 months here at the #1 Destiny's Duel Academy, and I still can't say your name after 6 months. Snark, welcome back. There's only one time here, and it's time to duel. Welcome to the Gold Skull Club. Thank you so much, my friend. Welcome back. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for the wonderful 6 months here at the #1 Destiny's Duel Academy. Is this Scarecrow from Gotham? You mean Penguin, right? You mean Penguin? It does look like Penguin, yeah. From Gotham. Alright. Tend the Pests. 2 mana instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature. Alright. Create X, 1/1 black and green pest creature tokens with creature dies, you gain 1 life, where X is a sacrifice creature's power. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's hard AF to use, man. It's really hard to use. So hard to use. Really hard to use. I'm feeling this is like a D. This is like a D for me, probably. So it depends on the synergies, obviously, but it's really hard to use. So while like a blue deck can usually hold up mana because, you know, if they don't counter something, they can draw a spell or kill something. In black-green, holding a mana is so hard. And you not only have to hold a mana, but in order to get real value out of it, the thing that they're trying to kill has to be high power. And it just seems like so many things that has to happen that this is a really late-game card that just doesn't have other implications. So I'm really happy to just give this a D+, or just a flat D, actually. Don't want to spoil, but you see why this is an A? That's a spoiler, Hennick. That's a spoiler. Village Rites, sort of. I mean, like, Village Rites is not a card that I play anyways. So, I'm happy to give this a D. Just give it a flat D, not even a D+. I've got a special treat for you today. Alright, just give us a D. A lot about Limited is just how flexible cards can be. Not necessarily like, oh, this insane 2-card combo or whatever, right? Most of the time, it's just not going to happen. It really has to deal with not only its flexibility, but how good it can be in addition to that. Which is why, like, the 5 mana Is It lesson is rated so highly for me, is because that card can do a lot of different things, right? Cards that are powerful in just a very fringe scenario is not that exciting. Alright, next card here, Witherbloom Apprentice. 2 mana, 2/2 Magecraft. Each opponent loses a life and you gain 1 life. This is an awesome card. Like, this card is just sweet. I love all these drain cards. It really has a Return to Ravnica Orzhov guide. Return to Ravnica Orzhov guide, like vibe. This card is just sweet. And there's other cards that do this as well. So if you have the legendary creature, whenever you gain life, they lose life. So you basically gain 2 life off this, and then they lose 2 life, right? It's actually super cool. This is basically Extort, but you're casting spells instead of paying mana. I think this card is sweet. I think I'm gonna give this a B+ as well. Let's give us a B+, maybe even a flat B. Maybe a flat B makes more sense. Yeah, let's give this a flat B. I think this card is awesome though. This card is really, really sweet. This card's really sweet. Oh, you gain 1 life and they lose 2? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you gain 1 and they lose 2. That's right. Let's give us a flat B. We'll see how this goes. It's a good Deathwings. We've basically just started. All right. Whoa, this girl's in all of the Quandrix cards. Zimone. Quandrix Prodigy. Oh my gosh. She looks awesome. 2 mana, 1/2. Uh-oh. 1 mana tap. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Alright. 4 mana tap, draw a card. If you control 8 or more lands, draw 2 cards. Hey! Wait! This is perfect for a landlord! This is perfect for a landlord. Yo, this card is like pretty sweet. This card would be even better if the lands didn't come in tapped. Man. Read the flavor. What are they complaining about? It's not like axiomatic leyline paratrigonomics. Paratrigonometrics is hard. Axiomatic leyline paratrigon. Trigonometrics. Trigonometrics. Jesus. Alright. Let's give us an A-. Let's give us an A-. It does seem very powerful, right? Like, obviously the body is weak, but what do you expect from a paratrigonometrics cyst? A paratrigonometricist. If you control an emblem named Deathsie, draw 2 cards. True, true. Perfect for a landlord like me. Seriously, this card's great. Next card here, Golden Ratio. Okay. 3 mana, sorcery. Draw a card for each different power among creatures you control. That's kind of cool. It's a cool card. I don't know exactly how good this is gonna be. This is gonna be one of those cards that really, we can theorize about it for a long time, but really it's just gonna depend on playing it. I assume it's not gonna be that good though, because even if you go like 3 mana draw 3, it's a hard 3 mana draw 3. It doesn't help you find lands. It's just not very exciting. I think I'm gonna give this a D. Hi Tara, how's it going? Draw 2 on average. So the problem here is not how many cards it draws. The problem here is when it draws. So while a divination only draws 2 cards all the time, divination is generally a lot better than this card because you're interested in playing divination to hit your land drops, right? Like you're gonna play a 2-drop or a kill spell into a divination on 3 to hit your land drops. So this card does not allow you to do that, which makes this draw spell quite weak. While yes, in a top deck scenario, a lot of times people, some sort of Timmy is gonna play Golden Ratio and draw 6 cards and is gonna be broken, but this in general is not the sort of card I'm excited about because it doesn't work at multiple points in the game. So, yeah, Golden Ratio. I'm gonna go ahead and give this card a D. But that art though, is this art, guys? Is this art? It mills you less than divination. Yeah, if it draws you less cards, it'll mill you less than divination, and therefore it's not as good as divination. And who cares about the mill? Who cares about discarding hand size? Next card here, Rutha Mercurial Artist. Mercurial is like Mercury, right? I mean, rar. It is. But I'm also gonna laugh when they draw 1 card off it, or no cards off it. All right, Rutha, 3 mana, 1/4. 2 mana, return Rutha to his owner's hand. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. This card is like super sweet. This card is super sweet. This card is even going to be better splashed in Quandrix, because you're going to have a lot of mana to work with, right? This card is awesome. This card is super spicy, and it's on a good body. From what we've seen, a 1/4 blocks very well against other 3-drops. And some 4-drops even. This card is actually just super exciting. Copy target instant sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. So, do you need a target to activate the ability, guys? I don't think so, right? You don't need a target for the ability, do you? I don't think you can. Or, I don't think you need to. I don't think you do need a target. Wait, why do you need a target? You do need a target? Someone say good body. This is a Planeswalker fork on her chest. You do? Need some targets to put on the stack. I was thinking it would just be an activated ability, but and then you don't need the target, but the copy doesn't, yeah, like the copy doesn't look like it's part of the cost or anything. It would need to say up to 1. If there's no target, you can't activate. I guess it has a colon and not a period here. Yeah, what does a colon mean? What does a colon mean? You cannot put a spell or ability on a stack without a valid target. Yeah, but the thing is that this is an activated ability. Before the colon is a cost. The colon means you don't need a target. Guys, do we need a target or do we not need a target? No. It's not the same as casting Heartless Act on an empty board. This is an activated ability. Activation puts it on the stack alone, right? It's an activated ability with a specific target. Yeah, so I can see it going either way. Returning is part of the cast. You need a target. You need a target. You need a target. No. You need a target. You definitely need a target. Okay. Same as Selfless Savior. You need a target. I mean, the thing is that Selfless Savior can target itself. Is the thing. 100% needs a target. 100% is a lot of percents. Did it just get a target then? Okay, well, interesting. Anyways, I like the card. I'm going to start off as a B-. I think that it's cool. It's a decent statted body, and it seems to have very cool recursive implications with just a lot of value. Kind of a polarized card, but pretty cool. You both need and don't need a target. 100% on both sides, though. All right, next card here. Shadewing Laureate. Laureate. Shadewing Laureate. All right, 3 mana. That's an interesting mana cost. That is an interesting mana cost. Look at that mana cost. That's so weird. All right, flying 2/2. Whenever another creature you control with flying dies, put a counter on target creature you control. This card does seem annoying, especially if you have whatever the 3 mana 2/1s are. It's kind of interesting. I'm gonna start this off with a B-. Starts off with a B-. What a weird mana cost, man. This is actually really intense, isn't it? So weird. It's so weird. I honestly can't wrap my head around it. It could be a B-. It could just be a flat C. Inklings. There we go. Would you prefer I destroy you using prose? Reverse? Prose? God, my English is not very good. Okay. Next card here. Mogoth, Mogoth, Woe Eater. 4 mana with another interesting mana cost here. 4 mana, 7/6. Alright, let's see what the catch is. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. Okay, that's a huge cost. When you sacrifice Mogoth, Woe Eater. Mogoth. Alright, when you sacrifice it, each opponent discards a card. You draw a card, and you gain 2 life. Actually, a really cool EDH card. Demogoth. More goths. Aesthetics. Demogoth. I don't know. Demogoth. Whenever you sacrifice it. Okay, so pretty cool actually. So it's a sacrifice outlet, kind of. Not the sort of sacrifice outlet that you usually want. You usually want an instant speed and controllable. But it does have a built-in failsafe. And when you sacrifice it, they discard a card, you draw a card, and you gain 2 life. It's actually really interesting. It's kind of like Egon. Kind of like Egon from Kaldheim. Really interesting card. I don't know how I feel about this card. Is this a Ben S stream now? Demon. Yeah. Demogoth. Let's start this off at a C+. A very interesting card. I can see you having a lot of tempo problems with this card though, right? This card is value, but not really tempo. It seems really difficult to use. I think I'm going to give this a C+ to start off with. Someone plays this and sacks it for X11s. I mean, that is a combo. And that seems pretty good. But Seems also very difficult to do. Very cool, though. Next card here, Maelstrom Muse. Another interesting mana cost. 4 mana, 2/4 flying. When it attacks, the next instant sorcery spell you cast this turn costs X less a cast, where X is Maelstrom Muse's power as the ability resolves. So you attack, this goes on the stack, and then it's going to resolve. And it's weird because your opponents can't really play around it that much, I guess. You attack. So weird. So weird. I don't know how I feel about it. It's not terrible. It's not terribly statted, is the thing. I really don't know. I think I want to start this off as a C, though. A C. I mean, like, you can't really buff this. At least not in competitive play. Big tempo swing. I mean, it really depends on what you're casting, right? It really depends on what you're casting. I think I'm going to start this off as a C. I'm going to start this off just as a flat C. I think this card looks flashy, but it's really hard to kind of draft a coherent deck around this in Limited, so I'm just going to go ahead and start this off as a C. It seems flashy, but not that exciting. She's an inspiration to everyone, even herself. Wow, that sounds like me. Alright, next card here. Mortality Spear. 4 mana instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast if you gain life this turn. Destroy target non-land permanent. Whoa, non-land permanent is huge. Non-land permanent is huge, man. Yes, Dialect, I understand that. So you can gain life. That's really interesting because, say if you block with one of the frogs or whatever, and then you trade off whatever, you gain life, and then you cast this for 2 mana. Destroy non-land permanent. Non-land permanent is like really huge. Non-land permanent is really huge. Obviously it depends on the format, but it seems good. It seems good. I guess let's give this an A-. Let's start this off at A-. It's also like pretty splashable in these green decks, I guess. Death is my life's work. Dude, what the heck? Can I have this on my... Can I have this on my tombstone? On my gravestone? Death is my life's work. That's me. Yes, Deathsie is an edgelord. Alright, let's start at an A- here. Next card here, Quandrix Cultivator. 4 mana, 3/4. Turtle Druid. A Turtle Druid. When Cultivator enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic forest or island card, put on the battlefield, and shuffle. Dude, Quandrix has so much mana. Quandrix has so much mana. Has so much mana in this format. B+ or A- for me. I guess I'll start this off at a B+. Start us off at a B+. The thing is that I can see first picking this. But it is weird for sure because, I don't know. I mean, the stat line is good. It's just a good stat line. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Druid Turtles. Yeah. Alright, let's start this off at a B+, I think. B+, yeah, it could be an A. We'll see. Next card here, Reconstruct History. What the heck? Is this like American history? Boros? Is Boros just American history? Reconstruct History. 4 mana, sorcery. Return up to 1 target artifact card. Up to 1 target enchantment card. Up to 1 target instant card. Up to 1 target sorcery card. Up to 1 target planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. Exile, Reconstruct History. Artifact, enchantment, instant. What is this? So you can't grab a land, but... So, planeswalker doesn't matter. Sorcery matters, instant matters. Enchantment and artifact probably matter. What is this? Yeah, and Boros. What the hell? Alright, maybe Boros is just the new Dimir. Is Boros just the new Dimir? So, we heard you're an aggro player, but you also wanted to be a Gandalf. Alright, interesting. So, this is not going to really go in my Boros decks, probably. This is going to go in my, my Quandrix decks. My multicolored Quandrix decks. And yes, it is double off color, but, you know, that's something I'm willing to look over. What in the world? Yeah, this is like a Golgari or a Dimir card. Like, definitely a Sultai card, right? And this card is the opposite of Sultai. It's red-white. This card is so weird. I'm gonna start this off at an A, and I don't understand why this card exists. But I'm really excited about this card. Really, really happy. Let's go. Let's start this off in an A. Is there much fixing? We haven't looked at many cards yet. Next card here, Aether Helix. 5 mana, return target permanent to its owner's hand. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. It's an awesomely cool card, and there's a Water Lotus there. But I think this one is not very good. It's a cool card if your deck is lacking some stuff to do with mana. It is a cool card. But this is like the most tempo negative card I've ever seen in my life. Oh, as sorcery? Alright, let's start this off at a D. Let's start off with a flat D. I just assumed it was gonna be instant. 5 mana? Come on, brother. Come on. At least throw in an instant. Alright, starts off at a D. 4 mana instant would be awesome. I would love this at 4 mana instant. 5 mana sorcery is not it. This can bounce lands. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Alright, next card here. Closing Statement. 5 mana instant. The spell costs 2 less to cast during your end step. Wow, that's so weird. Yo! Bohei, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. We're doing a card review stream for Limited. If you guys want to join in, welcome. Into the Royal tempo negative? No. Because Into the Royal is instant speed. And cheaper. And you can cast it for 2 mana. And you're drawing a card instead of necessarily getting something back from your graveyard. It's very different. Welcome, welcome. Alright, Closing Statement instant. Spell costs 2 less to cast during your end step. Destroy target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Put a counter onto one target creature you control. This is so weird because this feels like, what does it feel like? It feels like Simic, actually, right? Simic was just all about putting random counters. Simic was about putting random counters on stuff. The counter is so random. It is so random. This +1/+1 counter. I cannot believe how random this counter is. So, on your end step, it costs 3 mana. It's so weird. I like the flavor, though. Closing Statement. I think let's give it a flat B. Let's give it a flat B. It is interesting because you can also just cast it on their turn at 5 mana. Let's give it a flat B. It's so weird. So weird. Yeah, because like on your end step, it's very different, right? Because you can't kill something in attack. You need to kill it on the end step, and killing it on the end step is worse than sorcery. It's like a speed below sorcery even. But, yeah, you could use it as a combat trick. Say, like, you attack and then make some blocks, and then, bam, Closing Statement, and then you close out the game. Kill their thing, make a block bad, and then you win the game. But really, really weird card. In conclusion, I'm going to give this just a flat B. Yeah, your end step. All right, next card here, Practical Research. 5 mana instant, I like it already. Draw 4 cards and discard 2 cards unless you discard instant or sorcery. Whoa! This is Thirst for Research. This is Thirst for Research. This is Rowan and whatever the other person's name is, right? Draw 4 cards and discard 1. Actually, a really cool card. I'm gonna give this a flat B as well. I know we're giving a lot of Bs and As and stuff, but this card is actually just sweet. Let's see how much fixing there is in green. If there is, like, I'm probably going to be 5-color green all the time in this format. Until it becomes mainstream, and then I'll just never draft it again. But yeah, interesting, cool. Oh, Will and Rowan. I see. Oh, Will, it says it right here. Thirst for Research. Interesting. It's very thick. Thirst for Rowan or Thirst for Will? Who's Rowan and who's Will? Next card here. Quintorius, Field Historian. 5 mana, Elephant Cleric. What the hell? 5 mana, 2/4. Spirits you control get +1/+0. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard. Oh. They're excavating! I see! That's why they want to leave the graveyard. They're excavating. That's so cool. Create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. They're excavating! That's what they're doing! They're excavation elephants. Guys, what's a card? Excavation elephant? What's the excavation oh! It's literally called excavation elephant. Oh my gosh. Literally excavation elephant. This entire guild is just excavation elephants. What in the world? That's so weird. Alright. So, that's pretty cool, man. It's very expensive. It's very expensive, though. Man, you need to play this and then start excavating? What the hell? I think this card is awesome, awesome, but it's so damn expensive. It's so damn expensive. I'm gonna give this like a C- or D+. I think I'm gonna start off with a C-, guys. Start us off with a C-. It's so damn expensive. Can you really play a 5 mana 2/4 and live for another turn? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, it's a build around, but I mean, if you tap out on turn 5 for Quintorius, you best believe that I'm gonna be blocking with this thing, and it's probably not gonna survive. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if the set's full of 2/2s. It's at the 5 mana price point here. Like, you have to block with it. You just get 5 mana draw spell, yes, and it's in a different color combination. It's very different. 5 mana draw spell is different because you can leave up other removal spells. You can leave up other things to do with it. You can leave up threat of activation. You can leave up threat of counter spells. Quintorius, you play 5 mana for it. 5 mana 2/4. Your hand is face up. You tap out, and that's your life. That's your life. Your fate is in your opponent's hands. It doesn't matter if it's a crazy value engine. It's just so damn expensive. It's so damn expensive. It's so expensive. So let's start this off at a C-. You really have to pay attention to what color it's in as well. Like, a 5 mana 2/4 in like a black-blue deck is different than a 5 mana 2/4 in a Boros deck, right? In a red-white deck. Just because of the nature of their colors. But we'll see. Alright, next card here. Returned Past Caller. Whoa, 6 mana. 4/2, flying. When Past Caller enters the battlefield, return target spirit, instant, or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Alright, so this is also excavating. So you can curve into this. And then you get a 3/2. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this. Is understated again. I mean, Boros is looking slow, but the thing is that you have to understand that unless Boros has like board wipes, or Boros has like actually good unconditional removal, cheap removal as well, ways to control the game, is that it doesn't matter if it's pretending to be Dimir, it's still Boros. I don't know how I feel about this card. I think I'm gonna start this off at a D. We'll start this off at a D. Start this off at a D. This is a really cool card, but I kind of don't see it. So we'll see. All right. So the last uncommon multicolored card, Creative Outburst. 7 mana, instant. Creative Outburst deals 5 damage to any target. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, the rest in the bottom of your library in random order, and you can discard and create a treasure token. This card is cool, but just very expensive. It can go upstairs. Maybe it's fine in Quandrix, but double red here is very painful. If it was like 3 blue, blue, and then a split red and blue, and then red, I think this card's a lot more playable. This card is just not very exciting. I think I'm happy to give this a D. So this card is very different than the other cards. So there's the There's the 7 mana make 2 4/4s that has a similar ability with the treasure ability, but this card, the upside is just so low for it. No, like the Prismari is not gonna be unplayable by any means from what we've seen so far. We have no reason to believe that, but this card is not very exciting. I'm gonna give this one a D. Like, maybe you can run one as a top end in your deck, or maybe you can be a Quandrix deck that just has so much goddamn mana that Creative Outburst is basically like a 5-drop, which could be fine as well. All right, let's move over to the rares for multicolor. Culmination of Studies. X, blue, red, sorcery. Exile the top X cards of your library. For each land card exile this way, create a treasure token, so landlords can just get richer. For each blue card exile this way, draw a card. Oh. For each red card exile this way, Culmination of Study deals 1 damage to your opponent. It's a really interesting card again. Again, I could see this being splashed in Quandrix. I can see this being splashed in Quandrix. But usually at this point, the treasure tokens are not going to be that impactful, right? Say if you cast this for X equals 6. Why do you need mana at that point, really, for the most part? And then how relevant is the damage? It's not that relevant, right? The draw card is sweet, but again, this is like Russian roulette. It's just not it's not reliable. Yeah, let's just start this off at a D. Start this off at a D. It does not look playable. You know, actually, let's start off as a D minus. Culmination of Studies. Yep, that's basically what your degrees are worth here. A bad is it rare. All right, next card here, Double Major. This set flavor is so funny. Actually, it's actually just so funny. Double Major, 2 mana instant. Copy target creature spell you control. Except it isn't a legendary if the spell is legendary. So this has to be on the stack, right? This is only on the stack, right? It's not... You can't target a creature, because a creature is no longer a spell. It has to be on the stack. And it has to be your own. I think it's actually not good. It's actually not good, right? I think I'm happy to go ahead and give this a D. Happy to give this a D, mainly because of how difficult it is to use it. It is powerful, but it's so hard to use. So let's go ahead and give this a D. Even though Quandrix has a lot of mana, you don't want cards that are just like dead early, right? So really, really difficult to use. Happy with just a flat D for this. All right, next card, Rushed Rebirth. 2 mana instant, has science gone too far? Choose target creature. When that creature dies this turn, search your library for a creature card with lesser mana value. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So you can target your opponent's things, but then it also has to die. Double majoring in Ds. I don't think this is even a C. This is like a low D for me. Let's start this off at a D minus as well. Rushed Rebirth. More like rushed card design. No, I'm just kidding. Witherbloom students learn to see death not as a tragedy, but as an opportunity. So many of these quotes are actually just so fitting for the Dueling Academy. Yeah, it's like a standard jank card. Alright, next card here, Silver Quill Silencer. 2 mana 3/2. Enters the battlefield, choose a non-land card name. Whenever an opponent casts a spell with a chosen name, they lose 3 life, and you draw a card. They lose 3 life, and you draw a card. I mean, it's a 2 mana 3/2, I guess. How's this a B? How's this a B? This is like, I think this is a D plus. This is a D plus. It's a 2 mana 3/2 with basically no abilities, right? 2 mana 3/2. I mean, like the upside is that you draw a card and they lose 3 life. I'm happy to give this a D plus. So the thing is that in a format like this, I don't think that we can put just stat lines as a C. Like, the Bears basically have to have an ability, right, for it to warrant a C in this format. So I'm pretty happy to just give us a D plus. Just very unexciting. Even if you play best of 3, it doesn't go up in value. It barely goes up in value if you play best of 3, right? Versus some decks, maybe they'll have like so many copies of one card, sure, but its ability is basically have +1 power all the time. That's true. Next card here, Vanishing Verse. 2 mana, exile target monocolored permanent. In a multicolored format? How good is this going to be? Probably fine. I think I'm starting this off at a C-. Why are we giving this an A? It will hit something. I mean, it doesn't matter if it hits something. Usually, if you need to kill something, like you want to be able to kill it, not have a condition for it. I think I'm gonna give this a C-. Better than Exile Multicolored in a multicolored set. I'm not sure, but we are biased because we've only seen the multicolored cards. So, monocolored permanent. No, land is not a monocolored permanent. Land actually is no colored. So you cannot exile an artifact with this. So you cannot exile a land or artifact with this. It has to be exactly one color. Yeah, like this could have easily been an uncommon. Let's start us off at a C-. All right, Witherbloom Command. 2 mana, sorcery, choose 2. Target player mills 3 cards. Then you return a land card from your graveyard to your hand. Destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Target creature gets -3/-1 until end of turn. Target opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. I mean, this card is better than the last card, for sure. Non-creature, non-land permanent, but why? Target creature, -1 is like so low. Oh man. Alright, never mind. Actually, it's probably just worse. Alright, let's give us a D. Let's give us a flat D. It's definitely not an F. I think it's a D. But how can a card say so much and do so little? Yeah, in some sort of constructed environment, it's pretty sweet, but... Yeah, you get 2 effects, but it doesn't matter. Like, you get all the effects, and it's probably just a C, right? Maybe not. Alright, Prismari Command. 3 mana instant. Choose 2. Prismari Command deals 2 damage to any target. Target player draws 2 cards and then discards 2 cards. Target player creates a treasure token. Destroy target artifact. This card is fine. It's fine. I think we're gonna give this a B. It's just a flat B, yeah. It is probably deceptively good, but like this could easily be an A for sure. I'm gonna start off as a flat B. I think it's just a very, very solid card. Not exciting, not like game breaking or anything. It is flexible as well, but yeah, I agree with it being deceptively good. Let's just give it a flat B. Quandrix Command, 3 mana instant. Choose 2, return target creature or planeswalker to his owner's hand. Okay. Counter target artifact or enchantment spell. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard into their library. Ooh, you got me a shuffle. You got me a shuffle. So you can bounce and put counters. I think it's just a B. Still a B. Pretty good. Solid card. I think it's just a B still. Just happy to give a flat B. Quandrix the Mind. True, if you have 2 Quandrix commands, you can just clear the mind. Whoa. Double Quandrix command? Oh my gosh. Alright, that's going to be a bucket list goal for this format. To try to draft a deck with 2 Quandrix commands. And then just all card draw. This card is going to be... Alright, and maybe there are other stuff to shuffle. There's also the artifact we saw, the 6 mana 4/5. 6 mana 4/5 that puts a card in your graveyard on the bottom of the library. Pretty sweet. Like, maybe that's just a deck. Quandrix command plus the reach 4/5. 2 of the same rare. I mean, that's why it's a bucket list goal, right? Bucket list, like, you don't put something on the bucket list that's obtainable. You put something on the bucket list that is, like, something that's likely not to happen, but you want it to happen. That's what a bucket list is all about. It's not like, all right, I'm gonna put my groceries on my bucket list. Gotta aim a little bit higher. All right. Venerable Warslinger. 3 mana, 3/3. Vigilance, Trample. Again, such weird keywords together. Vigilance, Trample. Whenever a Venerable Warsinger. Whenever Warsinger deals combat damage to a player, you may return target creature card with a mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of damage it dealt to the player. X or less. 3 or less. I like it, yeah. It's pretty good. Let's just give this an A. Yeah, flat A. Vigilance, Trample. Trample ensures that, you know, say if they block with a 3/2, maybe you get a 1-drop back. Like, actually just pretty cool. It works with buff spells. Maybe you buff it up and you get your, and maybe you get your 5-drop back, you know? It's a pretty sweet card. Let's give it an A. Next card here, Blade Historian. 4 mana, 2/3. What the hell? Attacking creatures you control have double strike. Pretty degenerate card, honestly. Pretty degenerate card. It is very intensive, but it's just kind of toxic, right? It's just kind of toxic. It's kind of toxic. So, you play this, and a lot of times you just win. He has a book. Let's give him A. Look, he has books as shoulder guards. As freaking shoulder armor. Look at that. What the hell? He has book armor. What the hell? Huh? Baldrins. Scuffed Torbran. I mean, Torbran only gave +2 attack to red creatures. This one is attacking creatures have double strike, so they can even win in battle, right? Like in combat. This is a solid card. This is a solid card. I'm just giving this a flat A. Pauldrons. And sunglasses. Yeah, why does he have sunglasses? I mean, it might not be sunglasses. It might just be the glare. Alright. I studied the blade. Culling Ritual. 4 mana, sorcery. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Add green or... add black or green for each permanent destroyed this way. I don't like it. It's too small, right? Isn't it just too small? It's just too small. It's cool against tokens and stuff. Like, maybe you can just blow out a lore hole deck with it, but it's just so small. It doesn't matter if there are a ton of tokens, does it? Like, if you kill, I don't know, 3 or 4 tokens, and you wipe half their board, you didn't wipe half their other board. It's just very difficult to use. This is not exciting. I'm happy to give this a D. I don't think it's an F yet, but let's be happy to give it a D. If it's a 4/4 token, I mean, even if it's a 4/4 token. Glass is always half empty for Deathsie. Demogoth Titan, 4 mana, 11/10. Huh? Whenever it attacks or blocks, sacrifice. Oh, you have to sacrifice a creature. You have to sacrifice a creature. Dude, this thing is ginormous. How's this an F? This is ginormous, man. It's huge. It's huge. I don't even understand what this card is supposed to be in Strixhaven. I mean, it's not an A, guys. It's not an A. 11 Pests Pog. It's true that there's no trample, but it seems playable. Let's start this off at a D. I don't know. Sometimes you can't just randomly win with this. Let's start off as a D+. Start off as a D+. Really interesting. Yeah, fling. Imagine getting a Titan flung in your face. So this is a trigger on the stack as well, right? That's actually quite interesting. You're totally missing the black-green builder. No, Isaiah. You are living in magical Christmas land, where you think this is constructed or something, where it's like you just... Like... There's a cost to everything here. Again, I could be wrong, but... You just, most of the time, you can't play Magic like that. Especially in Limited, you know? It's like... In Limited, your random 2 mana 2/2 has all this cool text, but you know what? It can also just attack. It can also just attack. Like, you're gonna just end your opponent's life with stats, and then whatever text they have comes afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna be this sort of standard environment where it's all gonna rely on these like very specific combos and stuff, and you can tailor your deck around it. Like, most time limit is not gonna be like that. All right, dramatic finale. 4 mana. Whoa, enchantment. Creature tokens you control get +1/+1. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control die, create a 2/1 white and black inkling creature token flying. This ability only triggers once each turn. So, at least it doesn't trigger on only your own turn. It is interesting. It is quite powerful. I think we're just gonna give it an A. It is strange, but I can imagine just playing a normal game of Magic, and then dramatic finale comes down, and then you're no longer playing a normal game of Magic. You're no longer playing a normal game of Magic. Combat is impossible for your opponent. They can no longer win in combat. And even if it only triggers once each turn, it can trigger on your turn and on their turn, making your attacks better, making their blocks worse. I'm just giving this a flat A. The enraptured audience barely noticed their programs were suddenly blank. Wait, I don't get it. Yeah, and the 3/2 flyers are just very good as well. So let's give this an A. Next card here, Elemental Expressionist. 4 mana, 4/4, Magecraft. Choose target creature you control. Until end of turn, it gains if this creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. And when you exile this creature, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. So basically it's making your opponent's blocks miserable, right? Either on your turn or on their turn, and it's still a 4 mana 4/4 in a blue-red deck. But you have to proc the Magecraft, and it's not free, but it is pretty degenerate, right? I'm not sure. I feel like it's like a B+, A- range. Let's start this off with a B+. What's Magecraft? Magecraft is basically gonna trigger whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, or you copy an instant or sorcery spell. So let's start this off at a B+. I think it's pretty powerful, but it's gonna vary a lot. It's not a card that you can put in every single blue-red deck. Maybe you can put in every blue-red deck. We'll see. You can stack a whole bunch of triggers on the same creature. Yeah, you can stack a bunch of triggers on the same creature as well. That's true. All right, Manifestation Sage. So this whole cycle here, 4 mana 2/2, exciting. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So you would have like 3 cards in hand, right? If you cast this on curve. X counters X is the number of cards in your hand. A? You guys want an A for this? You guys want an A? Happy to give this a B, right? Happy to give this just a B. It's happy to just give this a flat B. It's cool because, I mean, like, even if you have a lot of card draw, a lot of times later on, you're still just gonna have, I don't know. You're still not gonna have that many cards, maybe. It's interesting. It seems like a B, B+. B, B+. At best. And then at worst, it's gonna be like just a flat C, you know? Anywhere from C to B+ range, depending on your deck. So yeah, let's give us a flat B. It seems very serviceable though. Alright, next card here, Radiant Scroll Wielder. 4 mana 2/4. Wow. Lorehold really likes their 2/4s. Instant and sorcery spells you control have lifelink. That's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard. You may cast it this turn. If a spell cast this way, you'll be putting your graveyard exile instead. So this works with Excavator and whatever else. It's pretty exciting. Haven't seen much of the burn spells yet, but pretty exciting. You guys want it as an S? What the? Exile random. I mean, it is an engine. That is true. It is an engine, but I don't know. It's interesting because like you can excavate the sort of cards that dig as well. The whatever the card that dug for just a bunch of random types of cards. It's actually really interesting. I think let's just give it. Let's just start off as an A. It's still understated. It's still a build around. This is definitely a Gandalf card. Really controlled mage style card. But it is exciting, I guess. Let's start off as an A. Next card here, Silver Quill Command. Alright. I was wondering where the Silver Quill Command was. Sorcery, choose 2. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains flying until end of turn to jump something. Return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Target player draws a card and loses a life. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. This one's pretty exciting. I think this one's pretty exciting. I think this is just a flat A for me. Hi Dashima, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. No, what I'm saying, Nobi, is that there are other ways to like mill yourself in lore hold, and then you can get that one back, right? It only exiles it once you cast it, right? Yeah, like all of these modes are actually pretty flexible. They're actually pretty flexible, and all of this on one card, the flexibility of it gives it an A for me. Is exiled and upkeep no matter what? Really? The digging card? I think you guys are misunderstanding what I'm talking about. Next card here is Lore Hold Command. 5 mana instant. Choose 2. Create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Again, this is an instant. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain indestructible and haste until end of turn. Okay. Lore Hold Command deals 3 damage to any target. Target player gains 3 life. Okay. There's a helix built in. Sacrifice a permanent, then draw 2 cards. This one's just an A as well. It is expensive, but it seems like it's what Lorehold wants to do. Very flexible. You can kill them. It has reach. You can gain life off it. You can make a 3/2 blocker, and then +1/+0 indestructible your turn. You can draw cards from sacrificing a permanent, whether that's a land or a token or whatever. I think it's just very flexible. This card is actually so hard to use, but yeah. Easy A for instant. Really, really nice here. I don't think we've given any S's yet. This is cool. Alright. So let's check out the Mythics from the Multicolor. Alright. Let's check him out here. Blot out the sky. I love the ink. I love the Inkling stuff. I love the Inkling. So cool. X black white sorcery. Create X tapped 2/1 white and black Inkling creature tokens with flying. If X is 6 or more, destroy all non-creature, non-land permanents. Non-creature, non-land permanents. So, I mean, in limited, most permanents are creatures and lands, right? So it's interesting because this is like quite good at every price point. At 3 mana, it's already just the 2/1, which is the normal price for the 2/1 in this format. And then it just gets better from there. At X equals 6 or more, it has a symmetrical destroy effect. Really interesting. Is it an A or is it an S? This with a token enchantment, I mean, it destroys the enchantment, but unless you mean play it afterwards. Tapped is definitely a drawback. Tapped is definitely a drawback that they can't block on the same turn. But they're still evasive flyers. I'm not sure. No, it says destroy all non-creature, non-land permanents. 6 or more, no. Guys, non-creature. The Inklings are creatures, guys. See, it does seem degenerate, but is it an A or is it an S? I mean, a lot of decks just can't beat it. A lot of decks just can't beat it. A lot of decks can't beat it. I think we're still gonna give it an S, though. We're still gonna give it an S. I think we're still gonna give it an S. It's still just very good. Because the thing is that, yes, if you're behind and they have, like, a bunch of stuff, you can't block and you lose, but you have to expect to be, like, even on board, right? You have to expect to be even on board. Even if you're a little bit behind, it's fine. Because you can make a comeback with this as well. I think I'm pretty excited about it. Hard one. I'm not sure. Let's start this off with an S, though. Could easily just be bumped down to an A. Alright, next card here, Kasmina, Enigma Sage. 3 mana, 2 loyalty. Each other planeswalker you control has the loyalty abilities of Kasmina. Okay, that's weird. It's like an opposite bolus. +2 is a scry 1. That's pretty unexciting. Though it does start off with 4 loyalty. -X, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature with X counters. Alright. -8, search your library for an instant or sorcery card that shares a color with this planeswalker. Exile that card in the shuffle. You may cast a card without paying its mana cost. It's solid. It's not an S, I don't think. It is very solid, though. It is solid. You can continue making green and blue fractal creature tokens. It is quite annoying, right? Because you can control, essentially, how big you want the tokens to be. A really hard card to use. I don't think it's a B. I don't think it's an S. I think it's just a flat A. I think it's a flat A. Like, it does start off with, like, lower loyalty than some of the other planeswalkers we've seen, but it does have a +2. A +2 ability is huge. Smoothing out your deck, and then you can choose basically how to distribute those counters to make fractals when you need them. I think I'm happy to give it an A. I don't think it's anything lower than A. I don't think it's anything higher than an A. So, pretty solid card. Not too exciting, but I can see this being a nuisance to deal with. Because a lot of times you can easily get, I don't know, 2 for 1, 3 for 1, 4 for 1. Right? Because the thing is that you're basically making fractal creatures that are equivalent to the things that you have to block or just slightly bigger. Either blanking their attacks or forcing them to do something. I think this is a nuisance. I think this is a nuisance, especially if you can just fully protect it. So, pretty happy about this. Let's just give her an A. Extis Auric Overlord. Is this English? 4 mana, 2/4. Double strike for whatever reason. Has Magecraft. Return target non-legendary creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Cast a spell. Return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Interesting. Okay, so let's see the backside here. Awaken the Blood Avatar! 8 mana, sorcery. Additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. The spell costs 2 less. So this is like the creature from Dominaria. I don't remember what it's called. I played it a lot though. Cast 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Create a 3/6 black and red avatar creature token with haste. And whenever this creature attacks, it deals 3 damage to each opponent. Each opponent sacrifices a creature, create a 3/6 black and red avatar creature token with haste, and whenever it attacks, deals 3 damage to each opponent. Yeah, Togar. Togar Famine Incarnate. That one. So say if we sack 2 creatures, which is quite expensive still. This is gonna cost 4 mana. Then they sacrifice a creature, and then we get 3/6 haste in. Interesting. This almost seems to be better in green-black. Wait, why is there even a black-red card? Oh, I see. You're supposed to sack, like, basically 2/1 tokens or whatever? So weird. So weird, man. What the hell? I mean, it's flexible. Both sides are, like, quite reasonable as well. Both sides are quite reasonable. A? Just give this an A+, I guess? Give us an A+. Let's give an A+. I think I'm pretty happy with both sides of these. I guess if you don't have red mana in your deck, I guess you would try to put red mana in your deck for this. At least it's only one red on the backside. It's not that intense. But what in the world is this supposed to be? This is so confusing. Yeah, let's just give an A+ here. I don't think it's quite S territory. It's not quite S territory, right? Both sides seem good, but not game breaking. Yeah, the token is not legendary. It's not a legendary token, which is also weird. How is an avatar token not legendary? That's so weird. All right, next card here. Galazeth Prismari, 4 mana, 3/4. Flying. When Galazeth enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Okay. Artifacts you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast an instant sorcery. That's pretty cool. So the treasure token, you can sack it for anything, including creatures or whatever. But they can also tap without sacking to cast an instant or sorcery spell. Stupid sexy dragon. I mean, it's well statted. It gives you mana. It has an additional effect. I'm pretty happy about it. Just give it a solid A. This is not an S. This is not an S tier card, right? Like, there's no way this is an S tier card. Just a very, very solid A+. Just solid A+. The treasures do not sack when you tap them. No. Tokens? Okay, so treasure tokens, you can either sack it for the mana, or you can tap it to add mana. You cannot do both, because tap is part of the cost, right? And you can't tap them both. So, it's one or the other. But let's just give it a flat A. Yeah, the art is sick for this. You can tap them, then sack. Isn't treasure tap to sack, or no? Is treasure tap to sack? Treasure is tap to sack, right? Gold tokens are not. Alright. Hofree, Ghostforge. 5 mana, 4/5. Alright, finally a well-statted unit, right? No more 5 mana, 2/4s. Spirits you control get +1/+1, have trample and haste. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a spirit in addition to its other types, and has when this creature leaves the battlefield, return the exile card to your graveyard. Huh? So, alright, this is where they got me here, guys. When it says, except, I was like, okay, here's the downside. Except, it gets a bonus that it's also a spirit, and it gets buffed by Hofree. And then, also, when it leaves the battlefield, you just put it in your graveyard so that you can buy it back later with something else. Alright, easy S. Easy S, there we go. Easy clap. Easy clap. Doesn't matter. S. Let's go. Shadrick Silverquill. Damn! Damn! This card looks cool as hell, man. 5 mana. 2/5. Legendary Elder Dragon. Flying. Double strike. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may choose 2. Not 1, but 2. Each mode must target a different player. Target player creates a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token flying. Alright. Target player loses a card, draws a card and loses a life. Target player puts a counter on each creature they control. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. So here's the downside. The downside was on the Silverquill card. It is symmetrical. Each mode must target. I mean, the thing is that you... No, wait. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may choose 2. Yeah, you don't even have to choose. So if they don't have creatures, you can put counters on their crap. Who cares? And you draw your card. If you want to put counters on your own stuff, you give them a 2/1. Who cares? Seems good to me. I don't know. Why should I not give this an S? Why should I not give this an S? Why should I not give this an S? Also the artwork. We also have to factor the artwork into the equation as well. Factor the artwork into the equation, it's like an obvious S, right? There's no way a card with this good of artwork can be that bad. There's no way. There's no way. All right, let's give it S for Shadrick's Silverquill. All right, there we go. Next card here, Tanazir Quandrix. Dude, there's so many dragons. They all have dragons. 5 mana, 4/4, flying, trample. Enters the battlefield, double the number of counters on target creature you control. Okay, only one creature. When Tanazir attacks, you may have the base power and toughness of other creatures you control become equal to Tanazir's Quandrix power and toughness till end of turn. So all your crap becomes 4/4s, is what you're trying to say. And you can double counters on something if you have counters on something, which I assume that Quandrix will have. The base power and toughness of other creatures you control become equal to this one. And technically, if you buff Tanazir, they become even bigger. All right, seems good. All right, let's give this an S as well. All 0/4 fractals and 4/4s. I mean, all of everything become 4/4s, but the fractals get the counters on top of it, yeah. All right. Body of research. All right, who doesn't love a little bit of research, right? Sometimes I search Twitch on my off time for research. Especially the just chatting section. All right, 6 mana sorcery. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of cards in your library. So this can be, if you draw it early, it can be like a 20/20. It can be a 20/20. So if you draw in the first half of your deck, it'll be 20/20 or more. Yeah, so I think on average, it's gonna be, on average, if you draw it on curve, it's gonna be a 23/23, right? Something like that. Dies to unsummon. I like it. I like it. EDH players rejoice. EDH players are gonna be so happy. EDH players with their Swiftfoot boots. You know? Oh, I can just play a giant deck. You're right. I can just play a 100-card deck and draw it on curve. Oh my god, y'all are genius. Why not? Why stop there? Why not be a 200-card deck? There is just no limit to the greed. All right, I think I'm just gonna give this an A. Just give it a flat A. It's obviously not an S. It's somewhere in the B to A range. It seems pretty good. Let's give it an A. Tutor for it. Tutor for it. All right, it seems sweet. Oh, what is this? Beladros Witherbloom. 7 mana, 4/4. Flying. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with, when this creature dies, you gain 1 life. Alright, so create a 1/1 pest. Pay 10 life. Untap all lands you control. Activate only once a turn. Oh, wait, hold on. Already put it as an S. A bit of each up. I mean, like the 1/1s are insane, right? Yeah, then, yeah, alright. Easy S, I guess. Man, what in the world? The thing is that it's a fair S. It is a fair S. It is definitely good enough for, a 7 mana for sure. But it is on the fair side of S, but it's still an S for what it does. 7 mana, 4/4 dies from, I mean, like, every single S tier thing is gonna die to removal, for the most part. Most of them. Alright, next card here, Harness Infinity! 7 mana, instant. Exchange your hand and graveyard. Exile Harness Infinity. This card is sweet. This card is sweet, man. First of all, look at this art. Oh my gosh. What a beautiful art. So say you're empty-handed, you play this, you get your graveyard. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Hard to use for sure, though. I think I'm gonna start this off at a B. Starts off at a B. I think this card is really sweet, has a lot of potential. It is very hard to use. It It is a card that is only good at a very specific time in a game, but it is powerful. Get that one colorless mana. Yeah, look at that one colorless mana. You know, like just in case it wasn't hard enough to cast. We're gonna help you out with this one colorless mana. Not casting is limited. I mean, I'm definitely gonna cast this at least once in limited. Like, there's no way I'm not. It's also an instant. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. But I think it's like a B, B minus, basically. Just past the 7 mana. Yep, nothing to see here. Alright. Velomachus Lorehold. 7 mana, 5/5. Flying, Vigilance, Haste. When it attacks, look at the top 7 cards of your library. Cast an instant sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to this power from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom. I mean, it has haste. If it didn't have haste, like, it's just an A, right? I guess we just put this as an S as well. Jeez. I mean, first of all, 7 cards is a lot. 5 mana or less is a lot as well. Vigilance is good. Flying is evasion. And haste basically lets you use it immediately. Yeah. It seems good. Play this into ultimatums. I mean, ultimatum is too expensive, right? This is 5. Yeah, a lot of dragons, man. Imagine you're playing Lorehold and you play your 5 mana 2/4 and then your opponent plays a dragon and you're like, wait a second here, wait, I'm not ready. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready, man. This card is hilarious. Magma Opus. Magma Opus. 8 mana. Alright. I'm interested. 8 mana instant. Alright. Magma Opus deals 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. Okay. Tap 2 permanents. Okay. Create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Okay. Draw 2 cards. Discard Magma Opus creature token. It's so expensive, man. I mean, obviously, it's very powerful, but it's so damn expensive. It is instant, though, so you can flash in this 4/4 draw 2. It's so expensive, man. It's so expensive. I think I'm going to give this a B. It's just so damn expensive. Like, unbelievably expensive. I'm just going to give this a B. Like, it's so damn expensive. I don't know if you guys understand how much 8 mana is. That's the thing, is that you don't win if this resolves. It doesn't necessarily win. It's very powerful. You're probably going to be ahead, but it doesn't win. It really doesn't win. I'm going to give this a B. Very excited about it, but it's also goddamn expensive. Alright, so we are going to be doing the dual face cards. There seem to be a lot of dual face cards, but instead of it being lands, spells on the front side and lands on the back side, they are creatures and then I think spells on the back side. So instants or sorceries on the back side, and we're going to take a look at them all. So these all seem to be high rarity, so there is going to be a lot of text. Alright, Augmenter Pugilist. 3 mana, 3/3 trample. As long as you control 8 or more lands, it gets +5/+5, right? That's a Deathsie card. Not bad. Echoing Equation. 5 mana sorcery. Choose target creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of it until end of turn, except those creatures aren't legendary if the chosen creature is legendary. Actually pretty cool. Pretty decent finisher as well. I like this card. It's a Quandrix card. Really cool, actually. Yeah, A. Honestly, just give it A plus. Probably solid A is good. Solid A is good. Honestly, both sides are very good. I don't know how you can even play around this, to be honest. Hold still. I have a theory about what's gonna happen to your face. That's hilarious. Alright, next card here, Blex. Vexing Pest. I'm never gonna remember these names, by the way. 3 mana, 3/2. Other pests, bats, insects, snakes, and spiders you control get +1/+1. When Blex dies, you gain 4 life. Okay, so guys, if you guys look at the capitalizations here, it almost spells out piss. P-I-S-S with a B in it. What in the world? Is that intentional? Because the thing is that it's not even... What? Okay. Search for blacks. 4 mana. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put any number of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. What? Oh, you lose 3 life for each card you put in your hand this way. Ah, very flexible. Very flexible. So this is already actually just like a pretty decent unit. And if you have like a bunch of pest tokens, it's gonna be pretty good. And then I don't know if they're bats instead of snakes, whatever. And spiders, +1/+1. When it dies, you gain 4 life. Also, if you're healthy enough, you can draw cards. Pretty sweet. Yeah, let's just give it a flat A here. Very flexible. Yes, it's a very flexible card. Let's give it a flat A here. So again, this is a Witherbloom card. All right, next card here, Flame Scroll Celebrant. 2 mana, 2/1. Whenever an opponent activates an ability that isn't a mana ability, Flame Scroll Celebrant deals 1 damage to the player. All right. 2 mana gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So this is just like a fine uncommon, right? The front side of it. Next, the back side is double white. Revel in Silence. Your opponents can't cast spells or activate Planeswalker's loyalty abilities this turn. Your opponent can't cast spells or activate Exile. It's actually really funny. So on their turn, just use cast it on their upkeep. What in the world? Aw, Juhi, thank you so much. You're the second person I follow on Twitter. It doesn't matter if you don't use Twitter. Thanks for following. Appreciate it. Yeah, they still draw. Wow. Interesting card. Honestly, this card seems really degenerate in Constructed. It seems kind of degenerate in Constructed. In Limited, how good is it? I mean, if you're winning and you cast this on their upkeep, they die, right? Probably. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, I find it hard to not give this an A as well, though. Like, the flexibility, flexibility just adds so much to it. The white time walk. They can respond to it with instants, yeah, but think about in Limited, like, how often is that gonna happen? Like, most of the time, you're gonna be very favored as a person who casts Revel in Silence, right? Stand up and fight, sit down and listen. I love the flavor on this. Huh. Let's give us an A-. Let's give us an A-. Yeah. Let's give an A- here. Alright, next card here. Deathsie, Oracle of Arcavios. Oh my god. This is the biggest human wizard I've ever seen in my life. Not good if behind. I mean, you cast it as a creature. 8 mana, 5/5. Discard a card, return Deathsie to his owner's hand. Alright, she's protecting herself. Magecraft. Reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it by paying 1 rather than paying its mana cost. If it's a land, put onto the battlefield. Journey to the Oracle. 4 mana, sorcery. You may put any number of land cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Then if you control 8 or more lands, you may discard a card. If you do, return Journey to the Oracle to his owner's hand. Okay. So, you play Journey. You have 8 lands. Alright, you dump whatever lands you have in your hand, and if that hits 8 or more, you can discard a card. And then only if you discard the card, you return this to his owner's hand, and then you can cast Deathsie again. It is expensive, but she does protect herself. On a reasonably small body, though, for 8 mana. But very powerful. I think it's like A territory. It's definitely not bad. It's definitely not bad. Yeah, these aren't tapped. These aren't tapped, but it doesn't matter too much, right? Doesn't matter too much in Limited. I think it's an A. I think it's an A. I mean, I personally wouldn't call this ramp. Like, most of the time, you're not going to have that many cards. I don't know how many cards you think you have at this point in the game. But it is somewhat flexible. I really don't know. This is a real Gandalf card for sure, though. This is a sweet card, but it is Magecraft. It's not like the beginning of your upkeep or anything. I can't tell. This card seems unbeatable for some decks, but I can't tell at all. It's either like A-, B+ range, probably. This is perfect for a Landlord. It is pretty good for a Landlord. So, from what we've seen so far, Quandrix has a lot of ways to draw cards and put lands into play. This might just be a very good Quandrix card. Alright. Let's just give it an A-. Let's give it an A-. I think this card, given that it is Quandrix, has a lot of potential. I think this card is actually pretty degenerate. Pretty degenerate. It is very expensive, though. Very, very expensive. But let's go and start this off as an A. Alright. I don't know how you live long enough. You do. You do as blue-green. You do as blue-green. Expensive cards in blue-green are a little bit cheaper than they look, essentially. A Weed Mage. Kian, Dean of Substance. 3 mana, 2/2. Exile the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, put a study counter on it. What? Exile the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it in your hand. If it's otherwise, it's a study counter. Okay, so your opponent can see it, right? 5 mana, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put a +1/+1 counter on it for each different mana value among non-land cards you own an exile. So confusing. Alright, so lands go to your hand. The other ones are basically face up with a study counter on it. And then 5 mana, you're gonna make fractals equal to the different mana values. Among non-land cards you own in exile. Interesting. So 3 mana 2/2 with this ability. It's a mana sink. Check the backside. Oh, it's a creature. It's not a spell this time. Or like an instant or sorcery. Ibrahim, Dean of Theory. 4 mana 3/3 flying. X blue tap. Exile top X cards of your library, then put a study counter on each of them. Then you may put a card you own in exile with a study counter on it into your hand. Exile the top X cards of your library, put a study counter on each of them. Then you may put a card you own in exile with a study counter on it into your hand. So basically all of the study counters, they stay in exile, and every time you activate it, you can grab one of them. You can basically grab one of them. Both sides seem okay. You never play the 2/2? Why not? 2/2 seems fine. Both are slightly understated. Yeah, I think I'm happy to give it like a B, B-. Happy to give it a B, B-. It is flexible. Maybe just a flat B is fine. I think a flat B is fine. It is flexible. Like, you could also just attack with a 4 mana 3/3. It's pretty decent. Alright. Let's give it a flat B. Let's give it a flat B. You pick the card intending just play one side in a blue-red deck. Yeah, that's true as well. Or you play it in a Golgari deck or something. I think it's pretty decent. B. I think B is very fair for this card. Next card here, Mila, Crafty Companion. Wow, it's a legendary creature? Wait a second, Luca's on the backside? Don't tell me Luca's a Planeswalker. Alright, legendary creature, it's a fox. 3 mana 2/3. Whenever an opponent attacks one or more Planeswalkers you control, put a loyalty counter on each Planeswalker you control, okay? Whenever a permanent you control becomes a target of a spell or ability and opponent controls, you may draw a card. Alright. It's like the white sort of taxation effect. crap. Luca, Wayward Bonder, 6 mana, 5 loyalty. Alright, +1, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. If a creature was discarded this way, draw 2 cards instead. Okay, so you can rummage. If you discard a creature, then you can draw 2. -2, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile at the beginning of next upkeep. So it's kind of like a... It's kind of like a graveyard sneak attack kind of thing. -7, you get an emblem with whenever a creature... I guess it's basically Into the Breach. No, Into the Breach is also hand. You get an emblem with whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equals its power to any target. 6 mana, 6 loyalty, drawing cards, and then getting stuff back. The art is weird. What is he holding? What is that? Is that a harpoon? Thing is that both sides are pretty mediocre, right? Both sides are pretty mediocre. Like, this side is honestly just better. This side is just better. Like, 3 mana, 2/3 with this ability is just, like, pretty good. Spell or an ability. I guess it's an A. Just an A. Yeah, this white side's pretty good. And then you have the flexibility of this side. So, alright. I guess let's give it a flat A. This is not that exciting of a card, though. But, yeah, just flat A. Dude, we're honestly, we have so many A's and S's already. But yeah, let's see. Alright, next card here. Pestilent Cauldron. Whoa, it's an artifact with a flip. That's a sorcery in the backside. 3 mana artifact. Tap, discard a card, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. That's expensive. That's expensive to make a 1/1. 1 mana tap, each opponent mills cards equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. That seems really terrible. 4 mana tap, exile 4 target cards from a single graveyard, draw a card. That one's decent, I guess. Exile, but you have to pay 4 mana. You have to pay 4 mana for it. It's so hard to mill them with this as well. Restorative Burst. 5 mana sorcery. Return up to 2 target creature, land, and/or planeswalker cards from your graveyard to your hand. Each player gains 4 life. C minus? C minus? C minus? It could be in the C or the D range. Honestly, we should probably just put it into the D range. Probably just throw it into the D range. Yeah, let's give it a D plus. You know, plus for a little bit of extra luck. It's just so expensive. Every part of it is so expensive and not that impactful. Even if you're like a full pest deck, it's just so expensive. Discarding a card is so expensive. Like, it is unbelievably expensive to discard a card. Like, yes, you can exile 4 cards and get a card back, or it's just so damn expensive. I'm happy to give it a D+. I just don't see much potential in this card, so... It's just too slow, too expensive, not impactful enough, overcosted, expensive. Everything is just so expensive. Next card here, Plarg. Plarg, Dean of Chaos. This is the professor everybody hated in school. 2 mana, 2/2. Tap, discard a card, draw a card. Okay, so you get a rummage. 5 mana tap. Reveal cards from top of your library until you reveal a non-legendary, non-land card with mana card that's 3 or less. CMC 3 or less. May cast a card without paying its mana cost. Put all revealed cards not cast on the bottom in a random order. Okay. 2 mana, 2/2 with a rummage ability and an activation ability that always hits. Unless you run out of stuff in your deck. Yo, can't you hit Tibalt with this? Can't you hit Tibalt with this? In Constructed? You can hit Tibble. Oh, non-legendary, I see. Augusta, Dean of Order! Why is this on the same card? Oh my gosh, she looks amazing. She looks amazing. 3 mana, 1/3. Other tapped creatures you control get +1/+0. So if they're attacking, they get +1/+0. Other untapped creatures get +0/+1. Okay, so it's gonna change depending on when they attack, whatever state-based actions. Whenever you attack, untap each creature you control. Whenever you attack, untap each creature you control. Then tap any number of creatures you control. Okay, so it's not Augusta attacking, it's whenever you attack. You have to untap everything, alright? And then they all get +1 toughness. So basically they could have vigilance, or if you want to give them more attack, then you can tap it again. Which is really interesting with like creatures with tap abilities. This is like really interesting. So you basically get to choose your stat line, either +1 attack or +1 toughness during combat on attacks. This card is so flexible. This card is actually so flexible. Combat Trick God, yeah. So flexible. This is cheap as well. Reasonably statted. 3 mana, 1/3 is okay, I guess. And it has an immediate effect. Oh! Oh, it says other, okay. I was like, oh wait, is she a 1/4? No. And otherwise, you can cast Plarg as well. Really flexible card. So, the power level of this card is maybe lower than the dragons that we give S's to. But the thing is that the flexibility of this card and the entirely different things it does on both sides. This card lets you be a Gandalf if you want to be. And it helps you get it. It helps you draw out of your bad hand. This card lets you be a Timmy if you want to be as well. I guess a calculated Timmy. It's just a super flexible card that I'm extremely happy about. And honestly, this is a lot of stats. I'm just going to go ahead and give this an S. Deathsie will rope with this during combat, guaranteed. I'm just going to give this an S. Mainly for its flexibility and power level relative to its mana cost. So it's not a game, like, most of the time it's just not a game-winning thing. It requires other stuff. But this card is just too good on both sides. What do you mean with a Timmy? A Timmy is just like a... Timmy likes to attack, you know? Gandalf likes to sit back and draw cards. Yeah, both sides are basically A+, right? Together, probably an S. Alright, next card. Rowan, Scholar of Sparks. 3 mana, 2 loyalty. That's nice. Instant and sorcery spells, he cast 1 less a cast. Alright. +1, Rowan deals 1 damage to each opponent. If you've drawn 3 or more cards this turn, she deals 3 damage instead. Alright. So, she's also Timmy. -4, you get an emblem with whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell. You may pay 2 if you do copy that spell. Relatively inexpensive, but she doesn't protect herself. And she's actually very fragile. Let's see. Oh, Will is the guy? Alright. 5 mana, 4 loyalty. Instant sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast. Alright, at least it's the same. Easier to remember. +1, up to 1 target creature has base, power, and toughness 0-2 until your next turn. Alright, protects himself. -3, draws 2 cards. Is this Jace? -7, exile up to 5 target permanents. For each permanent exile this way, its controller creates a 4/4. The front side is like... The front side is, I guess, fine if your opponent doesn't have a board. Maybe you can just win by killing them. But really, the value is here at the backside. Will is just very powerful, right? Will is very powerful. Protects himself. Is basically like an Icy Manipulator. Sorcerer Speed Icy Manipulator on the plus. Draws cards as well. Will is 5 mana, so what? -3 is pretty expensive. I mean, it's not that expensive, is it? Like, we pay 5 mana for draw 3 for draw 3 all the time, and then this is left to the body. I do like this card. This card does seem hard to beat. Let's give this an A+. Let's give this an A+. Don't think it's quite in the S tier, but let's give it an A+. Pretty happy about it. Does the ult seem weak? You can target like 5 of your lands and then you get 20 power on the board. I don't see how that's weak. Or you can remove their dragon. Or I mean, like, if they have a dragon, this is probably not on this. You probably can't ult this, but I guess what you can do is you can keep on plussing the dragon. You can keep on plussing the dragon and then ult it eventually. It's actually very interesting. Yeah, actually very interesting. And then the passive is interesting as well. Obviously, the passive matters less the moment you hit 5 mana, but yeah, let's give this an A+. Happy with Will. Selfless Glyph Weaver, 3 mana, 2/3. Exile it. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. All right, reasonable for sure. This art is awesome, by the way. This art is more of what I want to see in Magic art. I hate like the front on kind of portraits, you know. This is really cool. Deadly Vanity, 8 mana. Choose a creature or planeswalker, then destroy all other creatures and planeswalkers. Oh. So both sides are very playable. Both sides are very playable. Honestly, this is just better than a board wipe. Though I guess if you don't have anything, you have to leave them with one thing. Pretty good. It's Lux. There's no way this is a B. It's either A or an S. Eight mana in black is generally cheaper than 8 mana in white. Unless you're blue-white. It might actually just be an S. One of the cool things about cards like this as well is that if you have a buyback effect, like you can play Selfless Glyph Weaver early in the game and then buy it back for a board wipe. It's actually just really nutty. I think I'm just gonna give this an S, man. Yeah, I'm just gonna give this an S. Assuming that you're both colors. Yeah, assuming that you're both colors. That's true. Assuming that you're both colors. I am assuming that we're both colors. Oh, you exile itself. Oh, it exiles. You're right. It exiles itself. But you can also play it as a 2/3 and just trade it off, right? This is only if you use the ability. I think this card's sweet. Let's give it an S as well. Let's give it an S. I think card's too damn flexible. Hi Mara, how's it going? All right, Shale, Dean of Radiance, 2 mana, Flying Vigilance. Put a +1 counter on each creature that enters the battlefield under your control this turn, and I mean, it's so powerful. You can attack and then tap post combat for counters on everything else for the rest of the game until it dies. Ambrose, Dean of Shadow, 4 mana, 4/4. Tap, put a counter on another target creature. Then Ambrose, so Shadow deals 2 damage to that creature. Oh, that's cool. So you put a counter on your own thing, but it's gonna deal 2 damage to it, or you can kill something that's 1 toughness. Basically, it'll deal net of 1 damage. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, draws a card. Okay. So you can kill off your 2/1 Inklings at instant speed as well. Yeah. Also, if he has Death Touch, it's pretty sweet as well. Guys, I feel like I'm giving out too many S's. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble for passing too many cards here. S for Shale. Both sides are like A+, right? Let's give it an S, I guess. Not everything is an S. Apparently everything is an S. Alright. Torrent Sculptor, 4 mana, 2/2, Ward 2. Deathsie doesn't grade on a bell curve. Too many S's. I mean, okay, so you need to keep this in mind, is that we're seeing the multicolored cards first, and these are all rares and mythics here. You know, like, we haven't seen the normal Wooburg cards yet, so it's very normal for these cards to just be busted, right? Yeah, most of these S's are rares or mythics exactly. So it's like I don't know what to say. Like some of these cards are just S tier. Yeah, over flexibility and arts. Yes. All right, Torrent Sculptor. 4 mana, 2/2. This doesn't have flying? Huh? What? Where's your flying, bro? How does this not have flying? Doesn't this thing have 4 pairs of wings? Huh? Dude, I am gonna suicide this thing so many times. I'm gonna suicide this thing so many times. Because I'm just gonna think it has flying. Those are fins. Isn't it in the sky? That's water that looks like wings. Isn't it in the sky? That's water. It's in the sky. Alright. Ward 2. Okay, so... Oh! Instead of paying life, they need to pay 2 mana. When Torrent Sculptor enters the battlefield, exile instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on Torrent Sculptor equal to half the card's mana value rounded up. Alright, so if you exile like a divination, a 3 mana thing, then you get 2 counters, right? So it's 4 mana, 4/4. Backside Flamethrower Sonata. Merfolks are not supposed to fly. Say that to all of the flying merfolks that exist in Magic. A lot of merfolks fly, guys. So many merfolks fly in Magic. Like an unbelievable amount. Probably more than unblockable or whatever. Flamethrower Sonata. 2 mana, sorcery, discard a card, and then draw a card. Okay, so you rummage. When you discard an instant or sorcery card this way, it deals damage equal to the card's mana value to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. This is a decent spell. This card overall is like very medium, isn't it? Isn't it? It's very medium. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're exiling, but is it a B? A B or an A? B or A? I guess let's give it a B plus. Give it a B plus. It's still flexible. Still honestly pretty strong. Like 1's good early. 1's good late. It's fine. I guess both are good late, and one's good early. Let's give it a B plus here. All right. Uvilda, Dean of Perfection. 3 mana, 2/2. Tap. You may exile an instant or sorcery from your hand and put 3 hone counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, if this card is exiled, remove a hone counter from it. And when the last hone counter is removed from this card, if it's exiled, you may cast it. It costs 4 less to cast this way. So it's basically suspend. At the beginning of your upkeep, so you can do an end of turn on their turn. This is actually really good with a goddamn expensive Is-It spells, right? But the body is super weak. Nasari, Dean of Expression. 5 mana, 4/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of each opponent's library. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among those exiled cards, and you may spend mana as their mana of any color to cast those spells. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, put a counter on him. Her? Oh, colorless, discount only? Yeah, that's true as well. Red side is kind of nuts. Is it nuts? I mean, if you think about it normally, like, you're not that likely to hit, right? You're just not that likely to hit. You're not likely to hit, and you're paying 5 mana for a 4/4. Paying 5 mana for a 4/4. You still have to pay for it, even though you can spend mana of any color. And it's not going to be certain whether that card's going to be valuable or not. Draw a card every time that grows. What? I can't tell. Yeah, like B, B plus. B, B plus. I mean, it's decent. It's fair, right? B, B plus. B, B plus. I mean, it could honestly just be an A minus. Could just be a A minus. I really can't tell. I think it'll start off as a B+, mainly just because they're so understated. They're just so understated, and the value is questionable, right? So I think the card is kind of hard to use. I don't really want to put it into the A tier. I think I'm happy just to put it in B+. Next card here, Valentine, Dean of the Vein. Wow. Wow, what a looker. 1 mana, 1/1, Menace and Lifelink. It's so weird, man. Menace, Lifelink. Normally a 1/1 like this would have Death Touch, right? If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. When you do, you may pay 2. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. When you do, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. With when this creature dies, you gain 1 life. So one of the things die, you exile it. And then you can pay 2 and make a 1/1. Alright. I mean, honestly, for a 1-drop, that's just pretty good. Lisette, Dean of the Root. 4 mana, 4/4. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 1. If you do, put a counter on each creature you control. What? Whenever you gain life, you may pay 1. If you do, put a counter on each creature you control, and those creatures gain trampled in a turn. Alright. Lisette is very, very powerful. Like, both sides are decent. You know, sometimes, say if you have, like, an extra 3 mana in addition to your kill spell, you can play Valentine and get kind of, a smallish tempo swing with it. Otherwise, Lisette is going to be the card that you're casting, like, probably 70 to 80% of the time. A very, very powerful card. Let's give Lisette an A+. Let's give an A+ here. You play it as a 1/1 or as a 4/4, the Anthem's your whole team. It's really important that they're counters. If they're not counters, this card is losing a lot of value. You can also just play this in a Quandrix deck if you have just random life gain stuff. Valentine. Potato. Alright. Okay, so it looks like that is going to be all for our multicolored cards. Let's move on to the lands. We're going to move on to the lands, and then we're going to move into Wooburg. Alright, so let's take a look at this land. Archway Commons. Archway Commons enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice unless you pay 1. I hate Gateway Plaza. I hate Gateway Plaza. I hate it. I hate it. D. Let's give it a D. Fixing is fixing, but man, let's just give it a D for now. Alright, so it looks like there are a new cycle of common lands. Where are these lands gonna be? I'm so confused because there's a Mystical Archives, which is supposed to be taking the normal land slot. But then there are these common dual lands. Aren't these also supposed to be taking the common dual slot as well? How did the packs work in this format? How did the packs work? Oh, just as a common? Mystical Archives takes a common slot, not a land slot. Oh, really? It's just one common slot? Okay. There's also a lesson slot? Wait, there's a lesson in every pack? Is that true? We didn't see that many lessons, but I guess there's more lessons, right? Why gateways are bad, Deathsie? Because it's expensive. It's expensive to pay a mana for it. Ideally, the way you play these sort of lands, like Archway Commons, is that you really want to play it on turn 2. That's just gonna be the most efficient turn that you can play it. And whenever you play it on any other turn, it is just so painful. Lesson slot, archive slot, land slot. What the hell? That's crazy. Alright, so I think that we might be able to force like lesson decks every draft. Laurel Campus enters the battlefield tapped. Ooh. 4 mana to scry 1. Yo, that's cool. I love these lands. That is awesome. That is awesome. Let's just give all of these a C, though. It's expensive, but it's a bonus on a land that we normally don't have a bonus for, right? So, let's just give the whole cycle a C. Alright, Prismari Campus. Damn, I want to go to that school. They do have a lot more funding than Deathsie's Dueling Academy. Quandrix Campus. Damn! What the hell? Are they all like billionaires or something? What the hell? What are these schools? Silver Quill Campus. Ooh, this one's nice as well. Goddamn, son. Would you go to the Demirzi campus? I mean, this is my campus. It was known as like the ugliest out of all of the campuses. I mean, after Witherbloom, but Witherbloom wasn't really a real college. There just wasn't enough funding. They're just, you know, they just have to have class in the swamps, unfortunately. All right, Access Tunnel. Add 1 mana. Add a colorless mana. 3 mana tap. Target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa! Access Tunnel, man. Access Tunnel. This is kind of bad for the game. I think this is kind of bad for the game. Yeah, worse Rogue's Passage, but still good. Yeah. I honestly, I don't even remember how much Rogue's Passage costed. You mean Marauder's map? I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. 4 mana? Wait, then isn't this cheaper? Oh, but Rogue's Passage didn't have a restriction, right? Passage was 4 mana, but it didn't have a restriction on power, right? Yeah, this card is super annoying. Let's go to Hogsmeade. Access Tunnel. Damn. So the thing is that I can't play this in a lot of my decks because I'm gonna be like a multicolored Timmy a lot of the time. But this is just very annoying. A lot of times certain decks can't beat this. It is expensive though, I guess, which is good, but interesting. Let's just start this off as a B minus. Let's start this off as a B minus. This is gonna be used in EDH. Why would you ever do this in EDH? Why would you ever do this in EDH? Alright, so it looks like there are rare lands here. Frostboil Snarl. Enters the battlefield, you may reveal an island or mountain from your hand. If you don't, it enters tapped. Really cool land, actually. This is not an island or mountain itself, which is notable. For my arcades deck. Frostboil Snarl. Hey, don't trick me. So all of these lands, let's just give them the same. Let's give all these lands a C as well. Yeah, what a weird check land for sure. But let's just give all these C's. Take a look at the artwork real quick. True, Juhi. True. Alright. Hall of Oracles. Yeah, I guess they're like reveal lands. I don't know. What do we give common scry lands? A C as well, Ian. Just give all those a C. Buddy, you like buddy lands? Buddy lands are already, like Dragon Skull Summit is a buddy land, right? Is what they call them. Hall of Oracles. All right. Add a colorless mana. 1 mana tap. Add 1 mana of any color. This is a fancy. So far, this is just a fancy. God, what the hell is it called, guys? I don't remember what it's called. Dragon Skull is a check land. Wait, what's a buddy land? Buddy land is something else. Unknown Shore. Yeah, it is a fancy Unknown Shore. Tap, put a counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery, and only if you cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. Really interesting card. I don't know how I feel about this. Probably not that exciting. Let's just give this a C minus for now. Like, it's really not exciting, is it? I guess it is a bonus that it can add mana of any color. It seems so expensive. So you basically have to pay 1 mana for a counter. I don't know. Yeah, it's expensive. I'm not sure. This could be busted. Let's start off with a C-. Necroblossom Snarl? What's a Snarl supposed to be? Shine Shadow Snarl? These are so impossible to say. Like, I'm never gonna remember these, by the way. Alright. The Biblioteca. Okay. Add one Colorless land. 2 mana tap. Look at the top card of your library. If it's an instant sorcery card, you may reveal and put it into your hand. If you don't, put the card into your hand. Wait, if you don't put the card into your hand, you may put it into your graveyard. Activate only if you have exactly 0 or 7 cards. Poor Man's Library of Alexandria? Activate only if you have exactly 0 or 7 cards in hand. I feel like anyone who's ever played with Library of Alexandria will never play this card because you have to pay 2 mana for it. And it's only instant or sorcery. Ugh. Can we give it an F? I think we give it an F, right? Maybe it's not even, maybe it's not an F. Maybe it's not an F. Maybe it's like, maybe it's just a D. I can see if your mana is good enough in your Prismari deck that you can just throw this in there, I guess. When you're empty-handed, you can basically just keep fishing. It's kind of okay. Yeah. Alright. Let's give this a D. It's Surveil at the very least. No, it's not. You can only activate it if you have exactly 0 or 7 cards in hand. You can't activate it if you have anything but 0 or 7 cards in hand. You probably first pick this. I'm not first picking this. Alright. Vine Glimmer Snarl. Well, this looks German or something. Okay, so... one of the things that we missed in the beginning was I just didn't rate the sort of colorless lessons. And the reason being is that I had no idea what lessons were, and I didn't know what got lessons and what other lessons there were. So, let's take a look again at these lessons and give them a grade. Environmental Sciences, 2 mana, sorcery. Search your library for basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. You gain 2 life. Alright, guys. So, as unexciting as this card would normally be, I'm actually going to give this a pretty high grade. Can I give this an A? Is anyone going to sue me? Is anyone going to sue me if I give this an A? I just give this a solid B+, maybe. B+. It triggers Magecraft. It's colorless for any deck. It is like one of the few things in the format that actually allows splashes outside of Gateway Plaza, whatever the Gateway Plaza is worth. This might just be the best common in the format, as terrible as that sounds. Yes, I'll sue you with A. Alright. What if I give it a B+? What if I give it a B+, guys? I think this might actually just be the best common in the set. Oh yeah, there's also common dual lands. That is true. I think every pack has a common dual land, right? Okay, so maybe we can be more multicolored than I expected. Alright, so I forgot about the common dual lands. So instead of giving it an A, let's give it a B+ here. Let's give it a B+. I do like this card a lot. Again, it might be the best common in the set. It's like, yes, if we look at it as how we would normally rate a card like this, is not very good. But in this format especially, and me especially, I want to be playing 5-color Quandrix. I want to be playing 5-color Quandrix lessons, and I'm going to be slamming this first pick. But don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Alright, let's leave this as a B+. I could also rate it an F so nobody takes it. Okay, next card here, Expanded Anatomy. 3 mana, put 2 counters on target creature against Vigilance to end a turn. So now we've seen some counter synergy in green. Mainly it's gonna be like green, and it's also gonna be Silver Quill, which is black white. So, actually not a bad card. Actually not a bad card. I don't think it's even D tier. It's just like C+ for me, I think. The fact that it's colorless changes a lot. Because even when you don't know what colors you are, you can still pick up Expanded Anatomy, and it's going to be good in probably most decks. Rate all cards F so nobody picks any cards. Ooh, that's 5 head. I'm going to give this a C+. I'm actually very happy about this card. Your green screen is off a bit, getting some noise. The noise is fine. Mainly, I just don't have all my lights on because it gives me a headache, so. Sorcery makes it worse than it being split second, sure. There be opportunity cost between lessons? I don't think so. I think it's really just going to depend on how close you can try to go 1-for-1 on the sort of lessons and also your learn cards. And it's going to be very hard to balance that during the draft. I like it. Let's give it a C+. Next card here, Introduction to Prophecy. 3 mana, scry 2, draw a card. So this one is a little bit less exciting. Again, it being a colorless lesson does give it some value, though the card just kind of sucks. The card just kind of sucks. I guess Prismari really does care about the amount of stuff in their graveyard, and so does Lorehold. But man, it's so expensive. So expensive. I really don't know how I feel about this one. I guess I can give it a C-. I don't mind. But this one's damn expensive. This one's much worse than some of the other ones we've seen. Tutoring for a cantrip. Yeah, but there's a lot of synergies with it. There's Magecraft. There's graveyard synergies with instants and sorceries. There's a lot of things you care about, to be honest. I am going to like drafting lessons in the set, yeah. Alright, Introduction to Annihilation. So this is gonna be the last one that we haven't rated yet. 5 mana, sorcery, exile target non-land permanent as controller draws a card. So, it really is just Raven form, isn't it? It really is just Raven form. But, still fine, maybe? I'm not sure. Like, you better be exiling a dragon with this. Non-land permanent. Yeah, non-land permanent. Answers Eternal Worm. Yeah, I would actually be very upset if someone annihilates my worm. But, once again, what we have to think about for the lesson cards is that we really want to be drafting in a way that our sideboard is a toolbox. That our lesson cards are a toolbox. That we just need to grab something, even when it's not that good, as long as it's good enough. So, I think I just want to give this probably a B-. As unexciting as it is, I think it's just a fine card. Though, the next problem is that how many can you have in your sideboard? You're never going to fetch more than 1, right? So maybe I should just give it a C. Maybe I should really just give it a C. I'm not sure. Shit, I could just give it a C+, but it's better than... I'm not sure. Alright, let's change it to C+. I still don't feel good about giving this a B. I still don't know how I feel about giving environmental sciences a B+. I kind of want to give it an A. You know what, guys? Alright. You guys can sue me, but I'm going to change environmental sciences to an A-. The more I think about it, like, environmental sciences is just like the best lesson. Just the best lesson card. And it's fetchable. So, just pretty happy about it.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe down below. And follow me on Twitch to watch me live and to ask questions.